Good evening, one and all. It's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. It is time for us to be jumping into some more good old Warframe. And today, what we have got is Atlas. But first, welcome everyone. Hope you're doing well where you are around the world. Petra, you and I need a quick little chat. Just a very, very quick one, but we do still need it. I say, God, I just checked that last time I won the raffle. You did, didn't you? You did. And it was announced on stream. And you received a Twitch DM, and it was announced on the Discord. What happened, Petra? What happened? Because you know how this works. You've been around here for a hot minute. What happened? Don't say, not just is he, my Dante's Noctua is also missing it. Missing your arcanes. Yeah, Darian's having some issue with arcane issues. It's a curious one. If I just have a look at Temple myself. Lizzie. Yep, no, there's definitely an arcane slot. Darian, did you shortcut the crafting process? Did you remove some of the materials needed to build it? Did Lizzie eat the arcane? Something's gone wrong there, but your best bet is to report the bug and maybe contact support, see if they can help out with something on it, because yeah, you should definitely have an arcane slot. If you've got access to Seal Path and you've got access to Lizzie, that's arcane slot territory. That should be there. Don't know what's going on there for you. Indeed, Flair. Indeed. Yeah, not sure what's going on that one there for you. That is a little bit of a weird one. Anything you've done to your Lizzie use a Former? Yeah, Former shouldn't get rid of arcane slots, so nope. No idea. No idea what's going on that one there for you. Sally say, what, my phone is on 5%, remember when I'm gone? Oh dear, yeah, maybe find the charger for that one, absolutely. Petra say, just feel dumb, guess should stick around to the end of stream more. It happens, it's just, if you do go away from the stream, just check back within 24 hours. It's the process of the giveaway, just check back, that's all. That's all that comes to it, but yeah, it happens with surprising frequency. I will be quite honest with you, it does happen with surprising frequency. There are people that will join the giveaway and then just never claim it. Let me see, if I scroll down here, I've got 1, 2... that's a load of people saying thank you for it. There's a 3. So when was that one? I'm back to January. And then... there's another one in October. There's another one also in October. No, wait, no, that one's a November one. So yeah, it happens like once every month or so. It's not that uncommon, unfortunately. And a little bit of purple for Darian. Alright. There we go. There we are then. Happy I'll say the one time one forgot to check. You see? Where do you see the Twitch DMs? If you're on PC, if you're on browser, it should be at the top right. You'll see the Whisper message box. And you'll have an icon on it showing, hey, there's a message waiting for you. If you're on mobile, may the void bless you. Because I don't know how the mobile app works, and I don't think Twitch does either. So good luck with that. You do not have one. Interesting. See here. So let me just click your account directly here and then hit Whisper. And if I just send a dot, yep, no, that went to the same place as the actual message went. So that's definitely sending it to you. 100%. I mean, it was already 100%. I copy paste the username, but there we are. I have an excuse for why I did not do it. I mean, I understand. I get you. But yeah. There's only so much I can do. It's already one of the most generous giveaways in terms of access there could possibly be. You don't pay for any entry. There is nothing required other than to send a literal message in a Twitch chat. and you have a 24-hour claim period, even if you're not around at the time of the draw. Shit, you don't even need to stick around. Someone can join in, grab a ticket, and then piss off again to some other stream they prefer to watch. There's only so much I can do, sorry. There is really only so much I can do to try and give you stuff. You know? Where is it compared to the notifications button? Okay, let me just open my own Twitch in another window here. So, I'm going to go across from the right. I have my profile icon at the top right. Then it's Twitch saying, hey, go ad-free for free with Turbo. Don't know how that works. Then it's Get Bits. Then it's Whispers, which is where it'd be. Then it'd be Notifications. And then it's New from Prime. Those are the icons from right to left at the top right. So, you do not have that button. What do you mean you do not have that button? I mean, I know what you mean. I hear you loud and clear, despite the fact you said nothing, you're writing it, but I hear you. But what do you mean you don't have the button? That's... That's... Yeah. Yeah, no, that's... Wonder if it's region locked? I'd be surprised if Twitch DMs were region locked to even receive them. And at that point, I would expect that Twitch would say, sorry, you can't DM this person. So that's a good one. That is a damn good one, Petra. You have me well and truly stumped on that. I don't know what to tell you. If you literally don't have access to the Whispers, you might want to look into how you can have access to Whispers on Twitch. Because... yeah. Nope, Ladybug confirming if it shouldn't be a region thing based on knowing Petra's region. So, alright then. God knows. Void knows. Anything knows, but I don't know. That's beyond me. I don't know if even Twitch knows at this point. Kelton, cheers for the bit. Pip Goomba asking to have Twitch DMs from Stranger turned off. No, because I managed to send it. It's a case of Petra not having an inbox. I'm genuinely at a loss on this one. Genuinely at a loss. Anyway, let me have a quick look behind the scenes before we get on with all that stuff. If I have a look with the current rotation, it is there. Yeah, so we're on to that group. That doesn't sound right. What have I done here? Raffle history. Recent raffles. No, yeah, that is that group. Okay, yeah, so it is the first of the new batch. Petra, what is your Warframe username and platform, please? Because I can't receive whispers to strange person in settings. There is, but that's not on because Twitch tells me when I can't message the person. That straight up tells me when I can't message them. And also it still allows you to message out to initiate a conversation. This is something entirely different. I've heard you, Petra. From Wonder Damon saying, Kenna, watch your ass shouted and departed. Tried it, it's amazing. Have no idea if 4 can be made AoE. A week old video. Yep, that was brand new with the update. By enabling procs of both gas and blast, you have multiple AoE options to play with there. Gas, because it's lingering, is just the more broadly effective. Someone I think did mention in the comments they managed to combo it with the mecha set as well, which fair enough if you want to take it that step further. I try not to put the mecha set into absolutely everything status effects because, well, the mecha set is really bloody good for status effects. But then I also did use Raffle Advance, which is bloody good for everything crit chance on melees. So, you know, there's only so many features in the game where one can go, yep, this is just absurdly busted. And Ash can use a whole bunch of them. A whole bunch. I'm trying Arachne since it already has War Action Proton Snap, so I didn't recommend Arachne because I've already got 2 arcanes which have been recommended on it. And that is Crepuscular, it needs to be there. And trickery, because it's such a convenient form of invisibility that even violence can't get rid of. I included a clip of violence failing to dispel trickery. So that's why I didn't go down the Arachne route. As much as, yes, you can use it if you wish to, it runs into that limitation there. The arcanes are already accounted for as far as I'm concerned. They say it was great for an April Fool's video. It wasn't intended to be an April Fool's video, but it worked out that way, didn't it? So who knows? Maybe we can make something just as foolhardy out of Landslide. Landslide here, I am looking at some interesting starting stats, and that's because this 6.9 times critical multiplier, point nice by the way, is coming from this absolute litany of Talforge Crimson Archon shards I apparently shoved into this guy. I mean, it makes sense, it's a good frame to put it into, but, wow, okay. This one's already prepared. What I'm saying, yeah, using Shade, Ashes 4 doesn't seem to break Shade's cloak. I'm not sure if it's intended, but I'll take it. It's an ability, so that's why. Abilities do not cancel Shade and Huras invisibility, so you can use those as well. I didn't want to also lean onto that, having just leaned onto that very recently with the Temple build. I tried to mix things up, I'll be honest. I tried to mix things up because I could absolutely go the same directions with pretty much every setup. Oh, what's that? Your full caster? Permanent invis with Huras. What's that? You're applying status effects? Mecha set. What's that? Using a melee weapon? Raffle advance. And slightly painfully, those are the correct answers. Somewhat painfully, they are actually the correct answers. It's not quite Hunter Munitions viral days, but some things are just so powerful it's kind of hard not to use them. And it makes some things feel a little bit samey. I'll be honest with you. It does make them feel a little bit samey at times. So I try to mix up the recommendations I make and hope that somewhere along the way someone can figure out, oh, these things are compatible, and not have to have it spelled out every video. I hope that makes sense. I do hope that makes sense. So yeah, with Landslide Fist Prime, as opposed to just Landslide Prime or Fist Prime or something like that, Landslide Fist Prime, we do start with two lovely V polarities in here. We got an Arcane slot, I've already unlocked that one, and we got Landslide own stance mod, which is giving us an extra 10 capacity. I do imagine we can do plenty with this. Hyperhistorian saying, I love your builds because you're still playing the frame with them. I mean, that is kind of the goal, yes. That is kind of the goal. I could just, you know, give everything the Revenant treatment, go tank, roar, and just say use a gun, but Petra sent Discord DM, accept DM, info, received, and yep, no, that's fine. Excellent, Petra. I have now got all those details there. So good news for you, Petra, is that despite being outside the 24-hour window, that is a minimum guaranteed window. But D actually hand out the platinum in batches. You're still within this Windows batch, so you can still claim that one. This time. No guarantees in future. But yeah, let's just saying, two Majuro polarities, perfect for Condition Overload and Blood Rush. Well, Blood Rush, yes. Condition Overload, I don't really want to be priming when I'm using an ability like Landslide. I just want to be punchy. So, given how I went through the Ash one, and then ended up going down the crit build despite believing it was not going to be the correct answer, I may end up saying Condition Overload is the GOAT and should be the thing to use on Atlas, but I would like to avoid such a situation, to be quite honest. What we can add on is Prime Pressure Point instead, and I want to see Prime Reach is increasing this range, but this range, I'm fairly certain, is not the actual range. Instead, we see we've got a first punch, second punch, third punch of 7, 10.5, and 14 meters something on it. And if I just slap off that for a moment, it changes to 5.8, 8.7, 11.6. Those are the radius, or radii I should say, of the attacks. And sure enough, it is updating here. So this is actually just the radius of the first attack. It's not showing the radius of all of the attacks. And that also goes to show then that we can potentially get even more out of it. Or maybe it's showing that Prime Reach is a terrible idea because range modding can already do so much on that. We'll see how that all comes together. This is an old build, by the way. I don't know if this is going to be a suitable build or not, but this is what the old build was, including even Archon Stretch on here of all things. But, I mean, it's there. It's an option. What I'm mildly concerned about is that because Landslide tends to have such heavy hitting strikes, I might end up coming to the same conclusion as with Ash, and that's going to be very, very boring. If I'm quite honest. If I end up just going, yep, here's crit gas Atlas, I'm just going to be sad. Already looking at the crit chance there, starting at 35%, with Blood Rush thrown in as well, 5.4 times 35 is 189%, so we are going to be stepping well outside of the realm of melee duplicate, so that's just out. That is just out. You'll notice no crescendo because, well, we can't do finishes. You don't think Landslide has the same problems with Ash because Landslide is already AoE? I mean, there is that, yeah, but there's still the gas clouds are lingering gas clouds. If you can hit a very, very high damage gas cloud and just leave it there, then all the next enemies walk into it and die basically for free. You effectively punch groups of enemies that haven't spawned yet. So yeah. We'll see how that comes together. Let's see, say, oh yeah, August Astral Galvanized Steel should do nicely here. Yeah, we'll bring those bits in, absolutely. Just thinking real quickly at the arcanes, because these can decide types of builds. Melee Affliction, I don't think it's really going to matter to us, because Atlas tends to try to one-shot in the first place. So I'm not sure that's going to be too good. Melee Doughty is absolutely out. The fact that Melee Doughty even shows up here is almost nonsensical, considering it's a pure impact weapon. Where are we going to get the puncture from, DE? I don't know why this one is shown as eligible, other than just to avoid edge cases, I guess. But yeah. So those three are all out. Melee Exposure is a obvious answer for just more damage via corrosive. Petra says, sorry for being clueless, where do you see the 75 plat? Yeah, Petra, alright. Normally I send the details via a Twitch DM, so let me just find where I save the information. I'll send it to you via Discord right now, just so we can get that wrapped up for you. Let's see. Let me just verify the giveaway date. Yep, that should be that there. Alright, you're just getting the copy pasta. There we are. Exposure's a winner for Big Number Funny. I mean, it gives you more number, sure, but it depends on if you want the corrosive or if you want to go a different route. Corrosive is better when you can apply multiple procs, or if you just really, really, really want to hit the Grenier, I guess. But otherwise, as much as it gives you bigger number, sometimes just going a different route is more effective, as you can get the application. Melee Fortification might not be the worst shout, given Atlas is already armor based, but then Atlas can also generate a shit ton of armor, kind of undoing the value it can provide. The sad part with this arcane is because it is unlimited, but with no stacking, it all comes down to how many kills you got in literally the last 10 seconds, rather than it being a decaying stack or self-refreshing, anything like that. So yeah, Melee Influence is probably right out, because again, Atlas goes for the one-shots. Melee Retaliation, the way Atlas plays, I don't expect you'll have much in the way of shields up most of the time, so that's out. And then that leaves us Melee Vortex. Killing an enemy affected by magnetic status has a chance to pull in enemies within 18 meters, which, given that Atlas's punches don't have an 18 meter explosion radius, can be viable. You're invulnerable whilst punching? Oh, I had forgotten that detail, I'll be honest. Okay. I had forgotten that detail. Invulnerable whilst punching, alright. Does it actually say that anywhere? Or is that something they added? Immune to damage during landslide attacks. Okay, well, fair enough. There we go. Is there anything else I should know about? Successful punches back-to-back deal more damage to next enemy and send them flying on every third punch. Yep. Petrified enemies drop rubble. Landslide's damage scales based on whilst equipped. Enemies killed by landslide drop rubble. Restores more health and armor than the average drops. Okay. Bulwark summoned by tectonics can be used to do nothing of interest. Aiming Petrify Atlas's rumblers instantly heals them back to max health. Petrify Atlas's bulwarks increases their rolling speed, distance, and damage. Recast rumblers to detonate them. And rumble ballers' durability is influenced by stats. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. That was the main one to take away that I didn't remember. Invulnerable whilst pressing 1. You have to press first ability a lot? Yeah. It is a spam the punch kind of thing. Absolutely. Okay, so bearing all of those details in mind, let's see what we can get out of it so far and where I may wish to take it. To be honest, I'm also thinking now subsumes and what directions those could go, and I'm not sure I'm going to have anything too great in that regard. Okay. Now, with Melee Vortex, I don't have to mod Atlas for the magnetic. That can come from a companion, and considering we're getting into melee distance, companions should be able to proc it pretty reliably. So we should be okay to not have to lean into magnetic here. Because as much as we have got things like Magnetic Rush for plus magnetic plus attack speed, I don't know that it's going to be necessary, and instead we can focus that output elsewhere. Genuinely, I feel like maybe ending up with a gas or a blast approach might just work. Because yeah, if I do a gas approach, we leave the gas cloud, and then the vortex pulls in next ones into said gas cloud as well. I mean, that it's because Atlas has that approach for attempted one-shot. It feels like it's going to be just the correct direction. Because I could do something like that. Actually, do we even need primed Fever Strike? And I know I can use Proton Snap, but I don't want to. Also, hang on. No Proton Snap. Why does that not come up when you search gas? DE+. Oh, fair enough, Elliot. Fair enough, I won't pretend to fully understand, but you seem excited about it. I've tried putting electric on Landslide for Archon Stretch, but we get very weird results for actually getting the proc. Oh, that's a point. Yes, I do have Archon Stretch on at the moment, so let's add in electric mod and see if I can make that happen as well. Let's see if we can make that happen. Archon Stretch triggers off abilities that deal electricity damage, supposedly, but knowing how Archon Vitality works, I'm going to double check on the wiki real quickly. Does the wiki agree? Is that how Archon Stretch actually works? Abilities that deal electric damage will grant the buff. Okay. Yeah. Apparently. Okay. Apparently. Come say, initially tried the Corrosive Arcane, the putting Emerald Shards for +4 corrosive procs. Have yet to have an enemy live long enough to get more than like 2 procs. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Atlas is more geared towards one-punch approaches. Yeah. We'll see. Happy I say, you get the stretch buff in Sim, but notice it not working in mission sometimes. Is it not working when you're the client rather than the host? Because that could be it. Warframe has a lot of host-client disparity issues where things that work when you're host, so you're playing solo, always work. In a group, sometimes they just break. Oh, you're playing solo anyway. Never mind. Some other issue then. Alright, we tried. Let's see here. Now, attack speed I don't think is going to matter. Actually, yeah, I say that, but I don't actually know. So, feck it, let's test it. Let's remove the companion so that doesn't get in the way of anything. Let's head on down to the simulacrum real quick. and see if attack speed somehow affects it. I strongly believe it won't, but testing is necessary. As demonstrated with Ash, no less. Alright. Let's grab ourselves a Simulacrum. Let's grab ourselves a lovely strong target. We'll grab us an Exogoxad officer, as is standard. Alright. No attack speed stuff, what happens? Okay. And then with attack speed, let's go with, we can put quickening on here. Oh, interesting. So the attack speed mods that aren't quickening aren't here. Interesting. Only the ones which have some other feature attached to them are showing. But the pure attack speed ones aren't showing, which would indicate that attack speed has no bearing on it. And yeah, felt that. Alright. And yeah, Archon Stretch is triggering. But it was triggering as well for APR in the Simulacrum. It's elsewhere that's going to be the question. So let's take that out. We don't need that one there. Magnetic Rush is still a 60% mod and enables the Arcane. It enables the Arcane if we land the Magnetic procs with that mod there, which would be taken away from procs, which could be other things when we could have them come from our Companion or from a Primer. So it's something we can put in. You're absolutely right there. Not sure if it's what I do want to put in at this point. Now, we currently got the status up at 42%. If the status is going to be like that, we might as well go Ripping Wounds, you know? Because we've got 180% here. This is for 40%. We can get a pretty sizable status chance. In fact, let me have a look here. It'll be 15 times 1 plus 1.8 plus 4.4. 108% status chance. So yeah, full combo will be guaranteeing a status effect. And that status effect will be primarily gas, a fair amount of electricity, a fair amount of impact. Interesting. Time for crit damage. Yeah, so I've already got a amount of crit damage built into here. It's 5.8 without using the Companion. Now, if we add in a Galvanized Steel for plus 120%, as well as also increasing our critical chance, granted only 110% alongside Blood Rushes for 40%, but it's still going to add another 38.5 percentage points to it, which is not nothing. That is indeed not nothing. To say it's also best in slot for critical damage modding. So, you know, kind of a win right there. Which gives us at this point triple elemental, high status focus, pure damage, crit chance, crit damage, status chance. Range doesn't matter. Attack speed, oh, range can matter, but I doubt it's really going to matter that much. Attack speed isn't going to matter. We could go for a smite mod, that does work. Or we can go for something like this. That's just kind of bonkers. If we're going to go for a gas approach, even more status chance again, and also the status damage. I would say that if I did want to really dial in the gas approach here, then with a former, this should be replaced with primed Fever Strike to really increase the gas rate of proccing. But bringing this together, we grab then a Compagnorino. Let's grab ourselves a good old Worm. Now we can go with the Volclock, which has a very slow fire rate. There is also the Volcax, which is faster. We grab Volcax. Let's see, what do you currently set up with? Radiation heat. Okay. We actually want magnetic, so let's go with you. Let's take the Hellfire out. Can I get more magnetic out of this easily? Not sure on that. Well, I don't need the damage. I'll be honest with you, I don't need the damage, so let's use that to focus it in instead. That's going to need to be the cold one. So the dash polarity can be the Stormbringer, giving us a sizable amount of magnetic opportunities. That should do the trick whilst keeping us on the crit-based thing if I want to use a Sentinel. I'm aware that other companions can be more effective, but I'm sticking with Sentinel just for the moment. And looking at this here, we've got our energy income, we've got our damage, we've got tank, we've got yet more crit boosting, plenty of energy income focus. I mean, as a starting point, it should be fine. Let's just see what happens, really. We still have an enemy over there, so let's just see. If we got one enemy, we get... Well, at least we hit a combo pretty damn quick. Wow. That is very quick to combo. Very, very quick to combo there. Okay. So now let's compare the output that we get with a group of them. Why not just all of the Exogoxad officers? Okay. Yeah, that's getting some work done. Basically infinite with Naramon. Very true, yes. Can we get a magnetic proc? Ah, that's fine. So once again, this is going to be a contender for using the mecha set. This is absolutely a contender for the mecha set. However, I do notice that the enemies, at least these ones, are weak enough that we're not insta-gibbing them. Just for that moment. Just for the moment. Come on. There it is. Yep. Don't know how viable this will be long term because of the overkill acquire that can be acquired, but yeah. As long as we're not overkilling, it's... I mean, it does that. Oh, I was a little too slow on the draw there. So yeah, that 4 times combo kill will just have to do. Alright, now let's do that with a more normal Grenadier battle group. Does it still trigger just as nicely? The influence is active. Okay. And if I keep on building the combo... I haven't got Naramon equipped at the moment, so I'm going to have to be careful about this. This might take a few jumps back and forth. Especially if they die to the lingering procs. This might take a few punches. Maybe I should have equipped the router. Oh, yep, they're dead again. Hold on. I can fix that. Oh, they're dying again. Alright, alright. We've got influence is triggered at the moment. We're at 12 times. Things are dying already. Perish. Just all of the perish. It looks like influence might be viable here. How do you keep rubble heap stacks without path of statues, though? What? When you say rubble heap, do you mean just rubble? Or are you talking about actual augmenting? Because we're not even looking at augments just yet. Now, Rubble Heap, passive orbment, one above that. Landslide costs no energy, deals more damage, travels faster. You know, I don't think I've ever properly used this one. I'll be honest. Double damage is nice. Rubble Heap used to feel super required. That's the thing, is that double damage is nice. It comes down to, okay, how necessary is that? Because double damage and travel faster, it feels like that's going to be a straight up positive. But at the same time, as you're saying, you need to have that 1400 rubble, so now you have to focus on keeping it active, and if you're keeping it active, maybe you're keeping it active with Path of Statues. Yeah. Doubles range. Does it double the range, not just travels faster? Interesting. There's no note about the actual cast range on here. I thought that was a fixed range. Travels faster, not range. I mean, that's what I'm reading, but then comms seem to be of a very different opinion. Cast range fixed at 12? That's what I was thinking. Alright, comm was just mistaken. It happens. Rubble Heap's hard to keep up with sparse enemy missions. Fair enough, fair enough. It's one of those situations where the more enemies there are, some builds just become easier to use, whereas others that rely on taking out enemies bit by bit start to struggle because there's too many enemies. It is a trade-off. It is a trade-off. But yeah, let's just take this as it is at the moment and just slap it into a mission and see what happens, you know? I'm gonna upgrade that because I can, but otherwise, yeah, let's just go into a mission. What's the worst that can happen? I'm also gonna go with Naramon. That might be a mistake, but I think I should be fine in terms of energy. I've got Energize on there, so it should be fine. True, with the changes that make it less mandatory in that we have so much power now that you can step into other options. So let's go to a lovely little testing round. Good old Sedna Selkie survival. Why not? Let's just punch a couple things, see what happens. Hello, Doctor. We're doing well today. Hope you're doing well yourself. Wiki says it increases dash range. Okay, we'll test that later then. We'll bring that up in a moment. Let's see how this build feels first, but if it does indeed double the range, that'll be significant. Or it could be the wiki's wrong. You know, it's only right 96% of the time. Alright, let's get to punching. Well. I'm trying to tell if I'm spreading the effects. I don't think I had influence active then. Kinda need influence active to test it. Also, I'm dying here. There we are, fixed. Fixed dying. Alright, influence is active, so that feels like that spread further than my range should reach. Yeah, now that's spreading. That's spreading from influence. You can tell by the fact that it's doing non-critical hits. It's spreading through influence.
Life support on the way.
I just need it to keep rocking. May I recommend Arcane Steadfast? For what purpose? Yeah, this is where Path of Statues may come in real handy, is having that rubble for healing purposes. Or I might be able to put a healing mod onto the melee. Don't know if there'll be one available that's worthwhile, but you never know. So influence is again active. Let's see what happens here. can't tell. That's really frustrating. Influence is currently down. Come on, show me it activating.
Prepare for life support.
Might be killing them too fast. That's the thing. I'm trying to tell if I'm killing them too fast or if it's just I haven't got enough electric. Because it's only chance base, and chance base gets in the way of tests. But yeah, I'm not seeing it proccing at all now. We've reached a point where it does seem like it's just given up trying.
I've delivered another life support capsule.
It's weird. I don't recall prior to Encore Influence being unable to trigger off of things that instantly died. I might be incorrect on that, because as I say, it's just a matter of recollection, but I don't recall that being the case. Oh, well, I got Influence to trigger there because, well, he was surviving. So now what I want to see is, do I spread procs far and wide as a result of that? And for that I need... I can't tell if that was just in range of the attack. I think it was just in range of the attack, based on the crit. But then there I had a lot of non-crit. And I don't think it was the companion that did that non-crit. Yeah, because that's a lot of non-crit. Is the Overguard Ornament worth it? Not sure. We'll have to find out. We're thinking to keep activating Archon Stretch, because Archon Stretch is electric damage, not electric proc. Two different triggers. Very similar, but different. Like, look how far some of these hits are reaching. That's got to be stretching, right? Go away, Violence. Don't turn off my abilities. What's best for Influence build? Nourish or Roar? I would usually say Roar, because Nourish can get in the way of the electric procs you're providing, whereas Roar will enhance them. However, if you've got forced electric procs already, then Nourish will give you viral procs to enhance the damage output. So it kind of depends. Is it worth farming Wolf at Talon 6 after you get the sledge? Unless you're looking to sell sets, probably not. And double check if you actually can sell said sets. You never know if you change things like that. Yeah, I'll be honest, I genuinely cannot tell how much of a benefit, if any, Influence is giving us here, which would suggest to me it's not giving much of a benefit. No, I think it is spreading it. I think it is spreading it. It certainly helps when that guy just kind of resists the damage output for a bit. So yeah, it can work, but it seems to be a bit inconsistent due to the sheer power of Atlas. Well, the fingers on my left hand are getting a little bit of a workout here, running WAS, Shift, Control, and spamming first ability in appropriate locations. My right hand is doing basically nothing, it's just pointing. and then relatively lazily. Would melee exposure work well? Since Landslide is an ability, it should keep max attacks all the time. It would keep max attacks all the time. You'd constantly get the 240% bonus. The downside is it would be corrosive damage. And the question is, do you want corrosive? If you just want number go better, then perhaps yes. If you would like to have some status effects to go off the back of it, then perhaps no. Or to be honest, without status duration, I doubt that these gas procs are going to be worthwhile anyway. So that was a influence effect there, surely. Looked like one. No, I think my influence is just not reliable enough for this kind of setup. But then again, we are at only level, what, 135? You take the enemies up a bit and they're going to start to survive more, theoretically, to the point that we could get some reliable triggers. And then that just explodes it. What's the sales chance of this Exalted? I've got, it's a base 15%. I've currently got over 100%. I forget exactly how much we figured. But it is over 100% right now. I realise I've let my armor run down, so I'm taking a lot of damage. Let's fix that. Hello, Angst. Look, if violence couldn't kill me, you can't kill me. You're almost already dead. You're not even on the same floor as me. You are pathetic. Perish. These acolyte posers. No idea what they're doing. Absolutely terrible display. Smack. Yeah, I think in combination with how status effects spread, I'm getting the impression that influence might not be the way here, just simply because it's struggling to get a hold. Again, I'll have to test it against even stronger enemies. Now we know the setup at least works here, but there is a little bit of wobbliness in the health tank. We can work on that as consideration. Why gas with the electrics? Gas clouds linger. Electric does not. So if you kill the enemy instantly, the electric's done. Kill them with gas. The gas sticks around. More enemies can walk into the gas and take damage from it as a result. But the assumption there only is that the gas is going to be significant enough to matter. If the gas clouds don't kill the enemies, then it's pointless. Like here, I've just set up all that gas. He died. He died. He's dying. It's got potential. But I am also kind of clearing up the group so much. It's hard to say. Alright, let's dip out of here. I've got enough as to what's happening with it to start looking at variations. I could consider adding Prime Sure-Footed, you know, whilst I'm bullet jumping from place to place. Because that could do a lot of work, you know. Massive DPS increase. Maybe.
A valuable lesson.
Wolfenstein 6 is status immune? Oof. Good luck with that then. Good luck with that. Chernobyl saying, steadfast fills are good to use, you can go negative efficiency, and 3 punches cost 25%. Okay. Rare case where Doughty is better than Influence. There is no way melee Doughty is useful here, considering there is absolutely no puncture to work with. None. Nil. Nada. Zip. So that is actually the worst arcane to equip. Oh, you mean against Wolf. Alright. Yeah, that's not what we're fighting right now, but fair do. Alright then, so I can attempt to lean further into the electric to try and make that happen more, or I can abandon the influence approach entirely. Let's abandon influence entirely for the moment, and let's switch this around. Let's think here. If I go, go back to the vortex, and I'm gonna drop some of the crits by switching out Worm's Volcact to Verglass, giving it a magnetic setup. Or at least the capacity for magnetic. Because I don't care about the CS damage right now. I don't need to deal loads of damage. I wanted to deal some magnetic in there. This will be putting out magnetic at 17.5%, but a fire rate at 22.8%, so that's basically a guaranteed magnetic on anything it's targeting. So that should theoretically do the trick. Probably do Tazakor instead. Tazakor. Why would I want to be using Tazakor? We got status and fire rate. Yeah, fair enough. And because it's... Does it chain then, I guess? Chains, fair do. Yeah, that might be a shout, honestly, yeah. That might be a shout. Let's grab... Let's just screw this build. I can't be bothered to do a shells on it. So it's got Viral on there at the moment. It's got Viral Electric. Let's just shove the magnetic in where the electric is. There we go. This has 8.9% magnetic with a 22.8 fire rate and chaining. That should still be sufficient. That should still be sufficient. But I want to be more certain. So if we do that, it comes up to 11.8, and then if we go status chance, move this over to here and grab rifle aptitude. Now at 16.6. That is much, much, much more reliable. Much more reliable. I don't care about the rest of the morning. I know that you don't need serration for that kind of a setup. It's fine. Doesn't matter to me. Okay. So that should be stable enough to make it work. There is no way to get this up to that crit. No chance. None. There we are. Isn't Atlas immune to damage whilst landsliding? Yes, whilst landsliding, supposedly. But there are those moments when you are not landsliding. Those are the moments that matter. Hydrate. Cheers, Krydika, and welcome in. I'm doing well enough today. Hope you're doing well yourself.
Accept your death, and you may yet avoid it.
Alright, just
Trust in your
get a vibe for how this feels first.
They have just shut down all systems. I'm sending life support.
Oh, Bing, you have me concerned I'd done a typo again. But no, you're the one typoing for some reason. Alright. It's a good start. And they all exploded. Where am I getting all the blast from? Or was there just multiple barrels around here I wasn't paying attention to? Come on, zap the ones that are here. Zap them. Flap them. I mean, that does work quite nicely for grouping. Not sure on gassing it. But in terms of... it groups them.
Life support on the way.
A little hard to tell when they do just die. Imagine if D&D Atlas was like this, he would be an insane monster. I mean, he kind of is when you play the Prime. It's just that you won't put the Prime against players who aren't ready to deal with the Prime, so it doesn't quite feel like it. D&D Atlas, all of the Primes, they will fuck your shit right up. They're designed to. Unless you're at the level of facing off against godly beings yourself already. I made a point of that in the whole design of them, that there was no way to make Warframes reasonably feel like fair Warframes at levels outside of, well, tier 4. Because at that point, you'd have to basically lie about their capabilities. You have to. There you are. And in terms of the reduced abilities on lower tiers, that was an intentional design choice. Not just to reduce their overall power level, but to reduce their complexity. Because typically the lower level the group, the lower experience the DM. And that means they need less plates to juggle. Or fewer plates, I should say. So that was the design of it. Wolfenstein 6 is not tower immune? Oh, good to know.
I've delivered another life support capsule.
For your D&D Warframes, how would Temple's passive work in D&D? Roll per attack to recharge, therefore. To be quite honest, I'm not sure that passive would need to be incorporated. It's one of those ones which is more of a video game gameplay thing than something that needs to be directly respected and reflected. You can assume that they would always be on the beat, because let's face it, in Warframe, with enough skill, you can always be on the beat. So I don't think that's a passive that would need to be reflected. Mentioned perhaps, but even then, doesn't really feel needed. Speaking of doesn't feel needed, am I getting value out of these magnetic procs? It's pulling the occasional enemy in towards me. Which, fair enough, that's what it's supposed to do, but it doesn't feel like it's giving me new groups to obliterate. Maybe I'm missing it, but it feels like I've obliterated most of the targets for the Vortex by the time the Vortex is happening. And part of that is relying on my companion to paint something. Yeah. Continuous bop. It's kind of impressive how easy it is to just go bop and they all just fall over. Maybe Atlas Boom goes too hard for Vortex to function. It's possible, yeah. And it's like, if you can be bringing enemies in that will be outside of your range, certainly a significant coverage, then sure, you're doing well. If they're already dead, maybe it just doesn't matter. And like, there, okay, I lost one over the edge. There I got a pull in, but even then, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's doing enough for it to be significant when we already have an AoE ability. Certainly because I've also got it bodied with gas, extending and enduring the AoE. Reminds you of Calervo gameplay, teleport to enemy, the crowd dies. I see it. Also, I've been running with no armor bonus this entire time. Let's build some of that up. Evidently didn't need it, but let's build it anyway. I did say pre-patch, when people were complaining, oh, some Exalteds are going to die, they're going to get nerfed, they're all going to be terrible now. I did say at the time, wait and see. Let them cook. The devs have at least some idea what's going on, believe it or not. However, particularly, what's the word? Pessimistic you want to be about it? And look what we've got. Doesn't feel terrible to me. Gas is very good now. Gas is... I wouldn't call it very good. It has its place. If you can reliably get those really big gas procs in choke points. If the gas proc itself is not really big, and you can't buff it up with elemental mods, don't forget, and you can't land it reliably in a choke point, then it doesn't have anywhere near the power. It does require something powerful to kick it off. But once you got the something powerful, sure. I think people didn't think about the fact that pseudo-exalters will get arcanes. Whether it's that, whether they're complaining, oh, but more Riven. Various complaints, various reasons were given for people justifying why they should be preemptively upset. And my entire point came down to just wait for it to come out. Wait for the details. Now granted, Cora did still look like she was getting a bit shafted in the numbers. I've yet to test out Cora. But those numbers that she was getting shafted in were those who had already absolutely min-maxed her. And I can tell you from experience, you don't need to absolutely min-max Cora to get full value out of Cora. So even the ones that may have supposedly been nerfed numerically, in terms of practical output, fuck it, we punch. You know? In a game where you can hit 2 billion damage and enemies don't have 2 billion health, sometimes some optimization is less about how much damage you can deal and more about how much you can deal it. This was the case with Ashe. The whole video that I put out just yesterday was focused on how Ashe can achieve more when we stop thinking about damage and start thinking about application. It's why we don't use sniper rifles most of the time in Warframe. They lack application. In fact, if I recall correctly, wasn't the solution to the Sporothrix to do just the same? Make it explode as much as possible. There you are. Atlas does so much damage, putting Prime Reach on him might be optimal instead. I don't know about that. I mean, I can see the extra 3 meters of AoE. I can see where you're going with that. I don't know if that would be the choice. Because as much as I have got the damage here, there are still enemies which aren't dying immediately. Like they might take a second or third punch. And I'd be concerned then as to what to remove to put in the Prime Reach for that. Excuse me. Sorry, food try and come back there. It's a toughie. It's a tough one to call. And again, it's one of those things where there's not really one correct answer. There's a lot of correct answers. It's just there's also a lot of wrong answers. Modding Atlas for pure cold, that would be an incorrect answer.
We will all share in this bounty.
Modding Atlas for
As long as you can.
Corpus faction, Corpus Bane, when you're fighting a Guinea, that would be a wrong answer. But there's a lot of right answers as well. And not really many ways to determine which is more right if you're already just kind of doing the mission. Like, what else do I need to achieve here that I am not already achieving? Does Atlas AoE have fall off? I don't believe so. Doesn't look like it's having fall off to me. No, worm! No, it's down. Oh, whatever shall I do? Oh, this is horrible. Oh, it's back. Looks like he could put up the 2 damage augment if I wanted. I probably could, yeah, if I used more Casa Petrify. And one kind of should, you know, it's a source of armor, source of healing. It's kind of nice to have. So yeah, I probably could keep up that for the double speed, double damage. And again, question comes, what do I take out for it? Still need to test if it doubles the range. Still need to test that. Up. This guy can punch? He really can, can't he? Up. Yeah, this is maintaining similar effectiveness, and again, Vortex doesn't feel like it's doing enough for me to care. I'll be quite honest. It doesn't feel like it's doing enough for me to care. Get him away. How did you die? Didn't think I was close enough for that one to die. Oh yeah. Energy was absolutely not a concern there, but then I am using Arcane Energize. It's kind of cheating in the energy department. Naramon wasn't really something we needed to rely upon because there's plenty of enemies, but that's a survival for you. Overall, it's working. It's more a case of, okay, where can we get something interesting? Do faction-type weaknesses act like Bane damage? No. They are a one-time application, they do not double dip. Hello, Aegir. Okay, so all of that lot was with Galvanized Elementalist, Weeping Wounds, triple status 60-60 mods, trying to get value out of that lot there. Melee Vortex existed. To the idea, melee fortification, arcane battery for infinite max energy. That would be a little bit silly. That would be a bit silly. I'll be honest with you, I'm looking at all of the options here and none of them impress me. That's just number go there. This one doesn't really work if your crit chance is already so high. This has no effect. This should have no effect. This one we don't need more armor. This one had a struggling effect due to the output of damage. This should have no effect because shields on Atlas is laughable. And this we've just seen has a limited effect, at least if we use it on the companion, putting it on the companion to get the magnetic. Haven't tried putting the magnetic on Atlas himself yet. Would Affliction apply more status due to Ragdoll? Even if it does, by that point the enemy should be dead. And then the question is, why do you want to put more status onto the dead enemy? It's again a case of actual application. It's all well and good something happening, but if that something isn't useful, it may as well have not happened. That's the trade-off we're looking at. Yeah. What is the radius of Vortex again? 18 meter radius. And Atlas has, with this current setup, a 7, 10.5, 14 meter radius. There is potential there to make it a magnetic landslide and just fully bring it in. Would the melee explosion range mod work for landslide? When you say melee explosion range mod, which mod are you on about? Because if you're on about the glaive mod, you might notice that we don't have them. Because this is not a glaive. However, just primed reach does increase the AoE. So we get extra 3 meters out of it, which means we'll be bringing up the max one from 14 to 17 meters. So we'd have a 10, 13 and a half, 17. Not sure if that's necessary. Is using 360 mods really worth it? So at this point, it was to get both gas and electric onto here. Electric was to attempt to proc influence and to proc archon stretch. Gas was to get the benefits of gas using lingering clouds from that side of things. What I can do is, instead of electric, because we're not going for influence, archon stretch we can just invalidate and use this opportunity to bring in the magnetic instead. And see if that plus vortex gives us something more worthwhile. Still weird to hear gas is good. How about the weirdness that blast can do something too? That's still weird to me. Would duplicate make more sense if I replaced Blood Rush and Pressure Point with the Sacrificial set? Or is a higher crit chance just generally better? So with our total crit chance here, we have a, what was it, 35% base? 35% base. So with Galvanized Steel alone, that brings us to 73.5. Which doesn't get us over the 100% mark. So that'll be problematic when it comes to duplicate. If we wanted to go the Sacrificial set, that would give us, first of all, a modding headache, I'll be honest, because of formers. But let's see, that is Sac Steel, Sac Pressure. I still haven't fully ranked that up. 131.2%, that would be in a good spot for duplicate, assuming that applies. That would be in a good spot for it, yeah. Compared over here, dropping down to 125 melee damage over 165. This one is 17.8% more, so just a little bit there to consider. And then what's total crit chance we can get here? 4.4 times 35 plus the 73.5. So we can get 227.5%. If we bring that all together, we got 1.177 recurring. Multiplied by 1 plus 2.275 times 4.8. So the damage and critical consideration here is 14. Just focusing on those stats, we get 14. Versus if we were to drop it down to the Sacrificial set, no Blood Rush, no Galvanized Steel, for which I didn't take into account its critical damage. So we'd have to swap in Organ Shatter. Now granted, this is mainly coming from Archon Shard, but let's have a look. An Organ Shatter. Yeah, okay. Well, what is the base crit multiplier? Oh, I can't tell with the bloody shards equipped. That's frustrating. Let's see, this is giving you a 1.8 increase, so it's a 2 times normally. Okay, got it. So let's just recount this with the 2 times added in. So with the crit damage, actually 17.2. On the flip side of things, it would be that and that. Yeah. I don't see duplicate working on that. I don't see duplicate working on that. So, unless I'm missing a beat here, because this brings that up by 2.4, so that's 8.2. So taking 117%, that's using Prime Pressure Point instead of Sacrificial Pressure, granted mine's slightly lower ranked. taking into account the crit chance available, taking into account the crit multiplier available, comparing that to these 3 mods, where you have a lower melee damage, lower crit multiplier, and lower crit chance, but then using also duplicate. All the details before duplicate, we go from a value of 20.5 down to 9.5. Duplicate won't trigger 100% of the time, and even then it would need 100% to even get close. So yeah. Running the numbers, just kind of napkin mathing, it looks better to not go for duplicate. It looks better to not go for it. This is taking into account that we've also got all of these Archon shards stacked into here. That can affect it, but yeah. Show us Gas Ash? Oh, you want some more Sharton on screen? Is that what that is? Welcome in, Eiflin, and everyone who's come along with you there. Thank you very much for the raid. Hope you found yourself a good time. I take it you've seen the build. What do you think of it? Oh, the Gash build? The Gash build, yeah. Watched the vid last night. Yeah, I didn't think that a gas approach to Ash would really be on the table, but it works. Granted, almost nothing to do with Ash at that point. Most of it's coming from outside of Ash. We got forced crit chance from Rafflevance, forced crit damage from Crepuscular, forced status chance from Proton Snap. It's like, is Ash actually doing anything now? I'm kind of concerned that that could be applied to a lot of other things. Although Crepuscular only works if you're invisible. But still. That's, it's an increasingly common theme of going, screw the stats, I'll just do it myself. The raw damage for the gas cloud? True, yeah. Ash is bringing a lot of raw damage for that gas cloud. Very true. Very, very true. Gas Ash is just the stealth gas meta sneaking back into the game after being bombed by DE years ago? I guess. I do guess, yeah. It was certainly a ride to get there. If it's first time here, let me have a look. It will say if this was first time chat from Raider. Yes, it is. Eiflin, this is indeed your first time chatting here. Wow. Welcome on into the channel proper. Hope you enjoy your stay here. However long it may be, I understand if you've just wrapped up a stream yourself, you might want to have a rest. Absolutely valid too. Hello Lee, also first time chat from Raider. Where have you all been hiding? Where have you all been hiding? Here I am, creating for years, and I'm getting multiple partners coming in with a first time chat. Honestly. Eliu, thank you for gifting a sub over to Eiflin there. Much appreciated. Thank you for that, Eliu. Much appreciated. Alright then, so back to Atlasing. So I was looking at maybe trying the magnetic vortex and just seeing if I could do a magnetic gas vortex. Yes, I'm kind of slightly copying from Ash's homework there. Does it do something worthwhile putting the magnetic straight onto Atlas rather than trying to get a companion to do that stuff? If I'm going to go down that route, I can switch this back to Volclock and give us the extra crit damage. So our crit multiplier is going to be just a little bit of bonkersness at this point. Let's go for something a little bit tougher. Let's go into Circuitous. We have the basics down, we have the survival rotation down, so we know that the minimums work. Let's start to cook. Well, Nautilus for Cordon? Why would we need Cordon when we're using Vortex? I get that thematically it's grouping along with grouping, but that just seems wasteful. What is it achieving at that point? Is my question. Alright, enemies, where you at? Show your ugly mugs. That it? Just one? I did pick Steel Path, right? I think I did. Where are the rest of them? This mission's usually swarming with them. Where are the enemies? Are they like 20 million behind me? Ah, of course. There they are. There they are. Thank you. And they're all just dying. They are all just perishing. I might need to just go gas status duration like Ash if I'm going to do gas at all. Because this just works. Yeah, unlike with Ash, I am incentivized to keep on moving towards enemies, which does make gas less valuable because enemies aren't going to walk into the gas cloud if I'm moving the fight away from the gas cloud I've just left. That was where Ash differed in creating choke points and then just holding them. Atlas feels more like he wants to be on the move to get to the next group. Would adding a range mod to the melee do more than Vortex does? Well, they're doing two different jobs at that point. They're doing two different jobs, but you are right that we can add a range mod for AoE. More AoE. Atlas having the same problem as Ash, too much damage at standard levels. No, this is a different one. It's a case of looking at the gas and going, well, the enemies aren't going to die in it if the fight's moving somewhere else. Okay, there's someone. Some of them did get pulled into it, but there's also the incentive to just, you know, finish killing them. It's not saving me a job. It's not increasing my kill rate, waiting for them to go into the gas cloud. And that was part of the reason for going for the gas on Ash, is because the enemies could only be killed 2 per second with the direct damage approach. We needed the AoE, but this already has it. So that's actually a good thing. I didn't want everything to become gas the meta, and this has been like, gas is just not going to do anything of value to us. Is the Sentinel also magnetic? No, the Sentinel, it might have magnetic on there, but it's not intended to deliver it. I'm doing it entirely through Atlas now, because the Sentinel was not keeping up. It wasn't keeping up enough for me to care about it. So in the same boat as Ash, you outright kill them, then wait for the proc too. You should outright kill them, which is similar to Ash, but the usefulness of the procs are different. Which is why I'm trying the Vortex approach, but it's got such a range already that, as I say, it just kind of validates it. I'm occasionally seeing some enemies scooting towards me, but it's not instant. It's not super rapid. By the time they've scooted into range, I'm probably already punching their face anyway.
Hope everyone is feeling just as good as I did after seeing that Hollow Knight Silk Song is getting released this year after 6 years of having to hope and code for any news.
Hey! That does sound like good news. Flo, thank you very much for sharing that here, and thank you for the 28-month Prime resub. That's absolutely huge. Thank you very much for the support on the channel here. That is always appreciated. Cheers. Oh. Oh no, my gun is on the floor. Whatever shall I do? Okay, that guy did die to the gas block. Hi, Yanks. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. The eternal challenge of trying to find the Acolyte before I accidentally kill them. 1/3 of the way to silver pot. I mean, you're a little bit more than 1/3 of the way, but I get the sentiment. 1/3 of the way through the bronze pot, absolutely. I'm fairly certain I just kind of punched that guy mid-air while sliding over his head. That wasn't a grounded punch. That was just, I'm going to smack the air and you'll die because I Goomba stomped you. Yeah. Overall, I'm going to rate Vortex as not really that significant to us here. Oh, don't go invulnerable. That's boring. Fight me properly. Okay, this one's actually resisting that. Fair enough.
Destroy these void-stained enemies.
Oh, apparently I knocked the other one in the process. Alright. As for the win, kinda, yeah. He was like this before if you had the right stat stick, and I did cover that in the old stat stick guide. This is just more revisiting that same process and going, oh, yep, it still works. It still works. I am noticing some enemies which are holding on. Like, the majority of them are instantly blapped. That one's taken 2 hits, 3, 4. I think that was the health gates. There are some that are holding on. Let's see, this Xmas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hits to kill. Granted, Raw was inactive. But then I just have like an entire group full like that. And then I wonder, am I overreacting? The build's not finished. If ever I'm showcasing a build on stream, unless I am absolutely giggling to my heart's extent, it's unfinished. Think of it that way. If it's not in a video, it's not certainly finished. Even the X was die super fast if I swap Crimson Shards for Violet. That's something I can get around to. I shouldn't need to use 5 Tau Forged Violet Shards to get the to get enough out of a build. Those are a treat. If I'm telling people, oh yeah, you need to be using 5 Violet Shards, that's not a good recommendation. That's a hell of an investment. Sure, it's nice to use, but that's one hell of an investment. I want to see what I can do without having to get that far. And this is already 5 Tau Reds, which is a hell of an investment. Very fun if you do. I mean, that's the point. You know about it. You know how to have fun with it. You don't need a YouTuber like me to tell you 50 times over, also, if you want more melee crit damage, these shards exist. It doesn't bear repeating every single time melee comes up. It's more a case of what is required to make the build work, then you add your own personal gravy. As and when. In fact, when people release guides with full rank hotshot on it. Very hard to acquire, very expensive, brand new arcane, max rank, build this. It's like, alright, give something for people to build towards if they want to spend 1,500 platinum on killing the same enemies we're already killing. Sure. I'm starting from no shards. 5 violet towels is like a bum's luck from farming. It's a lot. It's a lot for a single build, and you have to weigh it against how much more power you're getting out of that. So a violet shard has double the effect of a crimson shard, and Tau Reds have 50% more effectiveness than crimson shards. So what I've got at the moment is a rack of 75% effectiveness violets, when you think about it that way. So it's kind of a middle ground on that. Rather than Tau Forge violets, it's 75% violets. If the game's not working the way it should, that's definitely a bug report there, Lagona. Don't know what to recommend to you if the Simulacrum's just forgotten everything you've ever done. Hi, Malice, where you at? Bye, Malice. Nice knowing you. Now, yes, the greater crit from shards will help in Malice there, because Malice and all other acolytes are vulnerable to crits. They have a damage cap that ignores, or rather, they have a damage cap that applies to anything but crits. So if you use crits, you can one-shot them. If you have enough crits. And evidently I did not have enough crits. Five Tau Reds are already a lot. They really are, yes. The way I'm looking at it is that 5 Tau Reds is equivalent to having roughly 4 normal violets.
signatures. But outside,
So it's more
we are
accessible
draining your life
than it
support,
looks.
and fast. Eliminate
But only if you can get the violets to work. Where'd the... Wait. Wasn't there supposed to be a floaty boy? I punched the Thrax. Did it just die from the punch and give up switching form? Because it certainly looks like that's what happened. That is a different one.
sentient scouts. If they detect
Do I have Astral Bond on my Sentinel? I don't think I ever use Astral Bond. Ever. So, maybe? But I highly doubt it. Happened to you two today? Maybe they're getting tired of 10 OBS? Maybe that. Astral Bond actually works? God knows. I use Operator so sparingly I almost forget it exists some days. I play Warframe, not abuse Child Soldier Frame.
the sentient is onto it. Look out for troopers.
Yeah, I think I'm fairly satisfied with the tank and damage on this. Let's see what else we can do with it. Do I run influence? Yes. On this, not at the moment. Let's get out of this one and see what other options exist to us. Where can we go next? Oh. I guess a few more things wanted to die on the way out. I ain't gonna complain. There we are. Very simple stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to go for a shielded Atlas for retaliation. Sure, there's a damage bonus to be had there, but it doesn't seem like a reliable one, or one that certainly matches Atlas's style. Plus, I know that all the Atlas mains are very happy to jump down the throat of someone who will put an unusual mod on their Atlas build. If prior reactions are anything to go by, if I put a shield mod onto Atlas, I might actually just explode from the amount of hate I'd receive. Yeah. Have I considered Arcane Fury or Blade Charger? Not so far, but you're very right, those arcanes do exist and they do buff melee damage. So far I've been using Energize for just ensuring I definitely always have the energy needed, and Avenger because crits go burr. And Avenger is far less capable now, considering that we can directly mod a lot of crits onto Landslide. It previously had, if I recall, 5% crit chance. A 35% base crit chance is bonkers. Kinda bonkers. But yeah, not feeling the vibe of either of those. Let's take those out for now. Shield is fine because you can't get rob lift damage through HP. What? Shinobu? What? I know rubble becomes HP and not armor if you're missing health, but there's two things wrong with what Shinobu's saying. One, you can still get the rubble, it just doesn't turn into armor. So, that. And two, if it's armor, why would you care about a shield build? If it's a shield build, why would you care about the armor? And if you're caring about rubble heap, kill faster. I wasn't exactly struggling to be at full myself when I just remembered to petrify. I just got lazy. People make an energy siphon, power nexus, archon stretch, Lavos build in retaliation. I'm not surprised if people do that, just to hurt me up. NRS with shield Osprey build. Now that's just going too far. Alright, yeah, bring this all together. Duplicate mathematically just doesn't keep up with the potential we can do. Doughty is off the table. Melee Affliction is off the table. Exposure is exposure. Fortification is wasteful. Influence is shown to be unreliable. Retaliation is... retaliation. It's just going to have problems because of shield. And Vortex proved to be a bit pants as well. Well, that's not great. How have we got all of these melee arcades and the best I can do is dilute down the status blocks with corrosive? Okay, you seem to be a little bit lost in time. Has Drifter reset you, unfortunately, too many times? We don't have drops anywhere in the Warframe category at the moment. Let alone on this channel. Welcome on in all the same. Does exposure proc on every swing? It's not a proc on every swing, it just gives you more corrosive damage. Or if you're meaning, does it stack every time you cast Landslide? Yes, because you're casting Landslide. Yeah. Influence will probably have more of a presence for longer runs. In fact, you know what? Let's switch back to that one. Let's switch out of the gas and go full electric and try that. Don't want that. Now with this setup, I don't have enough capacity to put something else here. I'm not sure I'd want to put there at the moment, aside from maybe a faction mod. With his upfront damage, why care about status blocks? Because we're looking at where it can trigger off of other aspects. If you just go in the pure upfront damage, then sure, why not? But you can usually get more out of a frame if you expand beyond just the initial damage. Potentially. Also, Ellie, thank you very much for gifting a sub over to Crowned Ladybug. Much appreciate on that. Ladybug, make sure you say cheers for that. Wouldn't faction be a straight upgrade over one of the electric mods because of triple dip? Triple dip? Oh right, does it dip again when it goes from target enemy to enemy in AoE? I didn't think it did, but I'll be honest, I can't remember. Nope, Zom just kind of hit that keyboard. Oh, triple dips with influence. Okay, right. It's also additive to Raw. That's true, I am using Raw as a default pickup here. I'm only getting a 46.5% from it, granted. So that is less than the primed faction mod, but it is there. It is there to be additive to. Still, triple dip is triple dip. But yeah, if we go with this, we have got that. I can absolutely go for the Smite mod. Bearing in mind there are certain factions not represented in the Smite mods at this time. So there's also that as well. But I think without forming it, I'm not really going to get much else in right now, am I? There's your other one, Melee Elementalist. If we want the status to be painful, make the status painful. And that doesn't require us to have a faction-specific mod. Granted, we don't get the... Oh, wait. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Doing well. Doing well. Hey, why don't I put on Pressure Point? That should go well. Thanks for realising before chat? I suppose. Or maybe there's just some very polite, silent people just letting me have my silly moment. Can always organ chatter? I could. You're very right. I could just throw yet more crit damage onto this bloody thing. Because organ chatter would add another, what, 1.8% 1.8%. Ugh. 1.8 times to this. Which, you know, it would be more. It would be more. So voting, I think they're joking. Yeah, I don't think there's really much of anything else that grabs my attention for Atlas's sake. Because I could throw in Gladiator Bite instead of Organ Shatter. Would the crit chance be worthwhile? Not with Blood Rush Galvanized Steel, I wouldn't. No. I think, well, we have got other sources of crit damage going around. I'll run the numbers. So, with Blood Rush Galvanized Steel, crit chance reaches... I forget how much. 25 times 1 plus 1.1 plus 4.4. 227.5%. Okay, so 1 plus 2.275 multiplied by crit damage gets to 2.4 extra on this. That is 8.2. And then with Organ Shatter, would add another 1.8 to that. So with Organ Shatter, the average crit multiplier would be 21.475. I'm just using good old calculator. If I instead went for Gladiator Might, at full combo we get another 38.5% crit chance. Yeah, 38.5. 3, 5, 6. That's 266% crit chance. However, going down from Organ Shatter on the crit damage, we lose 30% of 2 times, so we'd lose 0.6. Our multiplier would be 23.344. That's higher. Okay. So Gladiator Might would be better than Organ Shatter in the current setup. We get higher average crit output. Kind of weird to say, but that's how it's landing. Let's see. Kozilek saying Energy Channel. Convert up to... My god, I've never even ranked this mod. Converts 200% of energy used to up to 200 bonus damage on the next melee attack. Is that ever going to scale usefully to us here? Hold on. Wiki, give me some more info about this mod. I am not familiar in the slightest. And it's not going to be easy to see the effects. If the attack hits multiple targets, the bonus damage is only applied to a single target. Additionally, if the attack hits the same target multiple times, the bonus damage is only applied to one hit. Dead in the water. Dead in the water at that point. I'm going to rank it up because apparently I don't have a ranked up one, but still dead in the water. If that's how that works, no bueno. Shattering Impact, reduced base armor on impact. I get the idea. I really get it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You'd be waiting far too long to try and remove enough armor to be worthwhile when you can just punch them in the nuts and they explode. The nuts first and then the enemy, because the nuts exploded. So yeah. Is range beneficial? Range will increase the AoE, yes. So it's a trade-off between bigger AoE or bigger hit. I think that's mostly what I'm coming down to here. Did we ever determine if modding and melee range affects the AoE meaningfully? It does, we see the numbers of it. We see the numbers of it. It's very simply these numbers we have right here. With my current range setup, which is 175, granted not as high as you can take it, but I have gone for more balanced stats to balance out these two. With this current range, it's 7, 10.5, 14. Primed reach can take that to 10, 13.5, 17. Yeah. This comes. I'm answering your question. I just answered your question. Cameras over the stats, that's why I read them out. Because I'm not going to keep moving my camera every time another UI element goes to a different part of the screen, sorry.
You are a true hunter.
That's why I read them out. Those of you who are watching the stream and not listening, well, you can't hear me when I tell you to get fucked. There's only so much I can do to accommodate if you don't want to pick it all up. Now, let's quickly test a feature. Do I have an empty build to test on? I do! Oh, that's wonderful. Alright then. So it was a rubble heap. A rubble heap. Now this one could be slightly annoying to test, come to think of it, but let's try this out. So, what I want first of all is to just have a single enemy. One Exo-Goxad officer will do the trick. I first want to verify. Let's see, range 16 meters, so it shouldn't target it whatsoever. Out of range. 15, out of range. 14, out of range. 13, out of range. 12, in range. So 12 is definitely the range. Okay. So now, let's grab a Grenadier Battle Group of level 20s to quickly level up our stats off of... Actually, no. If I do it 200, I should, with the lack of modding, be able to just build it up. Oh wait, the modding's off of Atlas, not the enemy, not the melee. That's fine, we got 10 times. Actually, I wanted rubble, that's what I need to build. Sure, I need that. Very quickly. Get the rubble. Some of those were not affected, and that's on me for not casting it correctly. Can spam rumblers too. I want to do this. Okay, we're at the full rubble now. So if I just switch this down to 2 bombards. And actually, yeah. I think now to re-up it. There we are. Okay, good. Yeah, the range. 17 meters reached. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Just to make sure this doesn't run out. There we go. Okay, I am currently at 26 meters out of range. 24 meters out of range. Just slightly closer. 23. 23, 22, 20. Okay. So it didn't quite double it. It wasn't quite double. But it is very close. Oh wait, that one did it at 26 meters. Wait, what? Was I accidentally targeting the wrong one? Because I couldn't see through the goddamn marker? There, I'll get that back. Okay. Range on you. Oh wait, on you. 24. And it dashed that time. I think I was just doing it slightly wrong somehow. So verifying now, we are at 29 meters of range. Out of range. Maybe there's just a little bit of a delay after it's failed to dash. Because you know how there's a delay in between casts of Landslide already? You cast, then you can cast, and you can cast. There is that window. I wonder if I'm spamming it, if it activates that delay. And that's why I was seeing the wrong range there, because I was moving in during the delay. Maybe that was happening. Yeah. Are we testing without resorting to condition overload? Yes. Because I'll be honest, the whole vibe of punching everything doesn't work the same if I have to first get out my gun and prime them. And I know it's not like an involved process to prime. I know it's got plenty of capability to it. But I just want to fucking punch. If I'm going to prime things, I might as well use a normal melee setup and just call it a day. If I'm using Atlas, I want to punch, damn it. The condition is F? Correct. So, that has verified that the range at which we can dash is affected by Rubble Heap. It does double it. It's not just twice the speed, it is twice the range. When I prime with Sentinel Weapon, if you want to prime with a Sentinel Weapon, and you want to go through targeting specifically what has been primed by your Sentinel, you can do that. No one's stopping you. What's stopping me is, again, CBA. When they're going to patch the Infinite Tenekai thing, when someone reports it as a bug and they get around to fixing it. I'm not familiar with which bug we're referring to at this point, so I'll leave you to that one. Okay, so... What's changed here? I think if we're going to go the Augment, we could just straight up swap out Streamline for Rubble Heap. I could go for Path of Statues, but it's a question of what do I replace for that. Because I do like having the adaptation tank. We want our range. I like having the vitality to increase the adaptation tank. Prime Continuity is especially good for Raw. Transient Fortitude is giving us strength. Flow, I don't have the room for the energy shards to remove that. And it's nice to have that energy reserve. But maybe I could just get rid of that. I suppose I probably could. That, to be honest, I could probably get rid of that one. Because I'm not using Violet Shards, I can get away with the energy loss. And then that gives me that for Landslide and Passive. And all the rest of it combined. We'll see how that comes together. Rubble Heat plus Path of Statues means no energy I use on first or third once set up. First or third? I suppose if you mean I'm not using it, then sure. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Okay. So, with regards to Landslide, range can be a boost to it, and Gladiator Might can be a boost. And you can get the boost from a faction mod. So all three of those are options, and I think all three of those use a V polarity. So we can just stack in that way as well. And this is a V polarity. Actually, I could probably just shove a V polarity here right now. Give myself the room. Because that one is going to be on there. Yeah, for now, let's go with... Where did it go? Gladiator Might. Give us some more crits. And if it's too powerful, then I'll go a different way. Nickname saying, what could increase your damage will be replacing his 2 if it's not only about modding. And sure, don't forget, we got Omniform now. Oh, those two separate thoughts. So, you want me to replace Tectonics, is that correct? You want me to replace this ability? We're about to find out, Kanahab. We're about to find out. Go on, Nickname. Is this the ability you want me to remove? You managed to bash out 2 comments. I'm sure you can bash out a yes or no. Yes, cool. Already got a subsume on here. Now what do you want me to do? Alrighty. Shit. One moment. I have accidentally bashed my water against my mug, and I need to clean that up. Oh, fuck you too. Stupid. Fuck 'em. Fuck 'em. Right then, well, that little mess aside, the good news is the Kenjin mugs can survive being smashed with a glass. I guess. Bite, thank you very much for resubscribing with your Prime. Welcome back once again there. Up onto 8 months of support. Much appreciated, Bite. Cheers. And Temple Warden with the somewhat ironic hydrate. Cheers. Cheers. Alright. Long as the setup can survive the consequences? Yeah, it's fine. The water didn't go on anything electronic. So I just made a mess, that's all. I just made a mess. Okay, so let's give this a whirl. Going full influence approach. What happens now? Let's again go with Circulus. Why not? Why not?
The art of combat must be practiced.
Raw and punchy, 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 punch. Yep, that punch. The idea is to get to that rubble heap before I run out of energy. Well, they're all dead. So that's kind of a problem for generating rubble if they already died. Why would I not just cast Petrify at that point? Panther statue seems to be a terrible choice. I could just cast Petrify. Look how much more effective that is. It's the enemies I'm looking at rather than the enemies that might theoretically run into where I've been. Now I'm out of energy. Because I've reduced my efficiency to make that happen.
This would be an excellent place to deploy it.
There we are. Now I'm at maximum rubble. And so I can cast Landslide. Where's all the enemies? Hold on. This grayscaling is not helping me. Oh, much better. Holy hell. God, that is so much better. There we go. And because we got all the rubble, we've got the double range, which is absolutely non-negotiable. That double range feels so nice. And the question is, am I getting the benefits of influence? Influence is procced. Doesn't look like it. No. It's another case of influence one shot means no influence. Now I'm crossing this area back and forth, I am getting a few more triggers of the, of just enough of the Path of Statues to keep it active. So I guess you have to petrify to get it started, and then you just rely on the pickups. Rubble Heap doubles damage, and you don't know where in the formula it does. I mean, if it's a double, then it should just be anywhere in the formula. You just times 2, right? It shouldn't be a question or concern at that point. You just take whatever total at any point, double, continue. I think I finally got a influence spread there. Atlas just might be too good for any arcane to matter much. It might just end up being solid exposure. You're already winning. Also, I'm basically just running circles around this area. This is the way we do this now. I just spin circles.
Oculists, if they scan you, sentient fighters won't be far behind.
Fortify battery time? I don't think it's necessary to do any of those shenanigans. What would that achieve me? Spin to win his back. It's not quite that. I get where you're going. Take care, Ladybug. Have yourself a good one. Who do you hunt? Don't think I can give an appropriate answer for that. That's stream safe. One thing that has always been consistent with Atlas is that the Acolytes are basically just normal enemies. You don't notice them. They spawn in, you punch them, they spawn out. That's all that happens.
Tenno, the Void has summoned a new presence and it craves our life support. Destroy these manifestations.
There we are, we got a nice influence proc on that one. I think maybe keeping influence over exposure holds just for the case of when you get those enemies that start getting tankier, you suddenly level up into AoE Nuketown. Because all of those electric rocks that you can trigger on all of those enemies will apply to then every single enemy in the same AoE. I think that's the only case I can see for going influence over exposure. Just, if you are going on to long enough runs, sod it, why not? Back to testing influence. Everything else wasn't really working out, so it's a case of, can we get it here? And there, all of those blue numbers. If ever you see a blue damage number, the ability blue, not the shield blue, that's showing that it's influence that hit. Because it's a non-critical hit from my ability. If it was from my ability as a direct damage, from the actual punch, it will be red, maybe orange. It wouldn't be base ability color. So that's how we know when influence has done its job. And it's not that often, but when it hits, it fucking slaps. As I say, if the worst case scenario is influence one-shotting, not triggering, it means we're one-shotting, so exposure would do nothing. Actually, you know what? That's a completely valid assessment, yes. I didn't even think to put it in those terms. You are 100% right there, Zom. Yeah. If the reason influence doesn't work is because we're already one-shotting, exposure is useless. We're one-shotting. If at any point we would not be one-shotting, influence should theoretically be stronger. So yeah, that is the rundown on it, you're right. The other arcane options are too niche or too piddly to compete with influence here. Vortex works if you want Sucker Punch. We tried Vortex earlier, Mizu. We tried Vortex earlier, and Atlas's AoE was already killing everything that could be in Vortex range that mattered. The stragglers, the remainder of enemies that were in Vortex range but outside of kill range, were so slowly dragging towards the center, we were already moving over to and killing them before it mattered. Even if we were using gas box to create a kill box for them, very few enemies died to said kill box. They just kind of died when we punched them. Because that's what Atlas does. See, that was influence. You could tell the sheer range on that. That was influence. And Vortex also can't compete with that. Wonder if Affliction still triggers off rumbled boulders? Rumbled boulders. Not sure what you're trying to cook with that one. All the same, I would say this probably has landed on where we want to take it. It's just a case of trying to reach the one-shot ranks to there. The only other thing I can think of that might have more value here than Raw, and this is really stretching considering we're using Influence, is Raffler Vance for the Acolyte one-shot. More crits means you can one-shot them. I don't know if that's really necessary to build for. I don't think that's necessary to build for. There's an element that says Atlas into Rumba. It'll be utter trash now. It's supposed to scale with your landslide modding. Fair enough. Consider I can just do that. I think I'll skip another augment.
If they detect you, fighters will soon attack.
Alright.
The sentient
There is one more mission type
out for troopers.
that I want to have a look at this here before I wrap up and say, you know what, sod it, this works for Atlas.
Here in search
So let's just clear this round here.
Oblivion. They are trespassers here. You are not. These manifestations, they aren't from the neural sentry.
Heal you. Get back in range, please. Thank you.
Your life support.
Alright, let's get out of here. Now I've finished up that wave. The life support hasn't even begun to be a concern here. Exit out this way. Oh, not this direction. I'm trying to look at chat and navigate to extraction. It's a bad idea, so I'm going to focus on extraction first. There we are. Alright. Let's say more crits will also give you exclamation marks after your damage numbers, which is a real important thing. True, yeah, of course, absolutely. Gotta have that. 1 million affinity gained on Landslide Fist Prime. 1 million affinity. Hot. Down. Should I say, I'd like to say it's a good idea to mention Dexterity and Gorgon Augment for this, it helps a ton. Does it? What's that trying to help, Shinobu? What is that trying to help? How much do you need a rack for 30? If it's a normal weapon, 200k. Plus bonus. Now, Shinobu, walk me through this one. You've got an idea. I just want to see your vision on this. What makes it help a ton? Rather than just being thematic. I don't think I need to change anything in that. It's fine, is it? We'll just wait for Shinobi. It probably takes longer to type out their explanation than it does your 3 words of confusion. Give them a moment. Let them cook. We'll judge the cooking once it's on the plate. Whilst we wait, Kappa. Eaglefield said, just saw the VOD for Temple. Is it possible for a video to be made on stuff like Shock Trooper, Temple's buff, and stuff like Nourish's viral damage bonus? What is it you are wanting to know about, Eaglefield? What is it you're wanting to know that you feel a video should be done?
Selling the latest in asset security. Conduits. Put the key in and you can pull the shinies out. Trick is, you've got to wait to open.
Yeah, LD. We know, come on.
You can pull the goods. You don't get the goods. Ever. Also, the bleeders.
Now, depending on enemy spawns, this might be a little bit harder to maintain all of the rubble for. We'll see how it goes. I'm already out of energy. Ooh, hey, key. Out of my energy. Don't have a lot of enemies here, but I can petrify a couple of them. Ah, I'm out of energy. There we go. Yeah, man. And then group of them over here. No energy. There we go. I am struggling to build the rubble. Come on, walk onto it. Walk onto it. Thank you. If I aim past her and walk across it. Nope, I'm gonna get shot from over here now. Okay. Yeah, that's not working. I need energy! Bollocks. Bollocks. That's bad.
That there's a conduit. Useless without the key. Start turning out pockets.
Someone die? Oh, I will. Okay. Ah, yeah. I think the enemy density in Disruption might be a little bit too low for this to work. That's where I preferred my efficient setup. Efficient setup went blur. Alright, we're halfway towards the rubble. Let's start plugging in some keys.
First key. Right. Find a matching conduit.
Is there any energy hiding around here that I could use? No? 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 Okay. Are you? Where you at? There you are. Punch! Oh no. Oh no! Oh, that is not good at all! And now I have no punching energy. Uh-oh. Someone have energy for me, please? Please, 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 please. Thank you. Well, I managed to body block her. But yeah, that... I think that very confidently demonstrates that is not the way to go with that. Ooh. Avenger and what? I think I was using Avenger and Energize at the moment. But yeah, no, I think that one tells me pretty confidently on not fit for purpose. Damn damage attenuation. Damn medium enemy density. Worst of both worlds. No room for stealth, but also not enough to get the cascades of effectiveness. Yeah, I'm just gonna abort the mission. It's confirmed enough for me. Ovi, you're the second person to have popped in talking about drops today. Hang on, was there a Warframe International stream today? Is that what it was? Was there a Warframe International stream that people are missing the drops for? Ah, that'll be it then. That'll be it. There is one today? That means there was one, because I think they always stream like... I think they stream 7 PM UK? Or is it 8 PM UK? Same drops available with prime time tomorrow. There you are then. That's what it is. Okay. It's funny how I find out about those based on people coming here looking for the drops. And that means, does that mean that Twitch is pointing people to this channel again? Because it's done that before now, where people have gone to the drops, it's gone, hey, yes, there's Warframe drops, click here to go to the drops channel. And then it sends you to my channel, because the drops channel isn't actually live. And Twitch is too daft to figure that out. God damn it. Ilfeld, quick reset of the message. Saw that Heat Inherit ended up in a weird place because of Temple. I wonder if that's something that covers other abilities. Something to explain how the bonuses interact with build, because I'm unsure about adding a Shock Trooper to indicate melee influence build as an example. Okay, Heat Inherit is a very specific thing. Do you know what Heat Inherit is, Ilfeld? Do you know what Heat Inherit is? If not, then I can understand your concern. If you do, then, well, we'll cross that bridge once I got your answer. What charge are we running? All of them are melee crit damage. All of them. Every last one. Alright, so... this setup worked in survival, and very effectively at it. But in Disruption, absolutely no bueno. Absolutely no bueno. What are you doing there, Atlas? That is not how you hold that gun. Just no. There we go. He's figured it out. Okay, it was just a weird bug. That was a little weird. Anyway. Ilfeld said, don't have a full understanding. So Heat Inherit, very simply, is that the first heat proc that applies to an enemy determines the heat mod bonus of every single heat proc on the enemy until all the heat procs expire. So if I, playing Lavos, apply a heat proc, it's coming from an ability, it has no heat bonus behind it, it is just whatever the damage is. 0% modded heat bonus. If you then come along with your, what do you call it? Yeah, if you come along with a flamethrower modded with 500% heat mods somehow, like if you've got some God Rivens and all of the heat mods thrown in there, how does it matter? Your 500% bonus to heat proc damage wouldn't apply because I got there first. I applied a heat proc first. And the reason this is so significant is because Temple is built around putting an absolutely obscene amount of heat onto them and everyone else, but because it doesn't apply to the heat procs, it's functionally a 0% bonus for Heat Inherit purposes. This is specifically a heat thing. That's why it's called Heat Inherit rather than called Inherit. It is specifically a heat thing. It is unique to heat, and I believe the only reason it exists is because heat has a refreshing stack. If you apply a toxin proc and then 3 seconds later apply another toxin proc, it doesn't make the first one last longer. Same with electric, same with gas, same with slash, same with anything else. All of the status procs are independent stacks except for heat. Heat refreshes the entire stack, and it seems that in order to do that and calculate it reasonably, D decided to give it this heat inherit mechanic. Whether intended or otherwise, it's the solution they came up with, and there's nothing more permanent than a temporary solution, so it could be related to that as well. So yeah, that's how it breaks down. Heat inherit is a threat via Temple, because Temple puts out so much heat, but everyone picking up heat isn't picking up a heat bonus that affects the status proc. So anyone else who is trying to use a heat status proc may get nerfed, not buffed. It's a weird one. And it's just another of those things on the list of interactions and buffs that end up not actually being buffs. Sometimes. It's weird. It's very weird. It's similar to how Nourish can ruin various builds by washing out whatever you're trying to use and just putting a load of viral in the way. Technically it's a buff, but is it? It's similar to how Shock Trooper or Smite Infusion used to be similar for washing out as well. Actually, you know, still are, but Shock Trooper also could combine. So if someone was running a Toxin build, you applied Shock Trooper to them, now they've got a Corrosive build. They're like, bro, I'm fighting Corpus, what did you do that for? Thankfully that doesn't happen now, but yeah. So that's the whole thing with Temple and Heat Inherit. It's not something where I feel it needs me to do a whole video on, because I've already covered how damage types work in their own video, so check that out if you haven't. The only thing that has changed since that video is that elemental buffs from Warframes no longer combine with the elemental types on your weapon. So if you have a Toxin weapon, it no longer turns into Corrosive when you use Shock Trooper, whereas previously it did. That's the only change. Lavos Valence Formation stays on top. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, Mythic. Lavos Valence Formation... Oh, we want a twinkle. There we are. Lavos Valence Formation is currently suffering from the bug where the bonus that it's applying to your weapon, that 200% bonus, isn't applying to their status proc at all. It's got a worse version of the bug than Ember. So Lavos Valence Formation isn't staying on top here, it is also being hurt by it. The only benefit to Lavos' Valence Formation is that it doesn't screw over your teammates. Otherwise, it's still in the same boat. Yeah, Cold Augment on Frost back when everything was viral heat. Oh, or just if someone was running a pure heat build, not viral heat. If they were using pure heat, it would turn it into pure blast, yeah. It's not fun. You notice with your Valence Formation gas shenanigans, they got so much weaker? They did, yeah. It took out literally 2/3 of the damage. You feel that one. You really do. But hey, it's a bug. It's not something I need to put too much focus onto in terms of video making, because I'm not a QA dev. I am a content creator, and it's not much fun content if I just make videos on bugs. I will raise them from time to time in videos, certainly if they are particularly relevant and important. But if I spent all day talking about bugs in videos, you'd hear nothing else. We don't call it Bugframe for nothing. You really hope it's something that gets fixed? Oh yeah, I hope so too, absolutely. Yeah. If you say, isn't Valence Formation a strict benefit always? Maybe not that big before it can't hurt. It depends. Because you are controlling it yourself, it shouldn't be a negative at any point, because you decide when and how to apply it. But, what example can I give? Yeah. Say you're running just a little bit of viral in your weapon. Just a little bit of viral, just to put a dose of it out there, but you don't want to be overloaded with it. You're mostly heat, a little bit of viral. If you Valence Formation in viral, now you've got an extra 200% viral in there. You're going to have so many viral procs compared to your heat procs, it's completely washed out in the wrong direction. Sure, your direct damage is higher than before, but you were going for the heat build, and now it's gone. If you were to instead apply Corrosive, well now that small splash of viral is even smaller. The ability to actually apply the viral is pretty much non-existent. So it is possible to hurt yourself with Valence Formation if you're applying the wrong element at the wrong time. You thought it was a separate damage stack? No. Very few abilities are independent of the status chance weighting when they give you an elemental bonus. I think it's pretty much Zaku's Zarta's Whisper and Sarin's Toxic Lash, because they apply a second hit, and then some decrees do the same thing as well. For most abilities, they just shove it into the weapon alongside the rest of the elemental damage. But it's not technically elemental modding because D have coded it really weirdly somehow when trying to fix the whole combining, non-combining stuff. The coding for it must be an absolute clusterfuck at this point. It must be. Exactly, yeah, kind of, exactly. It's gonna get fixed. It must get fixed. D aren't gonna leave it like it. It's just they've gotta figure out how to fix it. And when. You feel like you should give every element above the Toxic Lash treatment? That is up to D to decide, because don't forget that would change then the status output, and they'd have to decide if that's actually something they want to do. That's an entirely different mechanical change to what has existed. So as much as you may want that, that has to go through balance consideration as well as just coding. Do I know how things like status chance vulnerability start being affected with this? I'm not sure what your question really is, because I don't think you're asking me to explain what status chance vulnerability is. So I'm not sure what your question is, Com. Company say, just coming here to say Atlas is ridiculous now, and the build seems easy to achieve with Energy Nexus. The build? I mean, if you want to use Energy Nexus, you're welcome to do so. I wouldn't say that describe it as the build, but maybe I'm misunderstanding. Yeah, I think this works fine for survival. Yeah, I think if you're not going survival, if you're going for a low enemy density mission, you're just going to want to have to go for streamlined flow instead, have that energy maximum, have the efficiency, so you can get the heaps of energy when it is available, and spend it slower. I think that might be the way. You mean without energize? I mean, fair enough, yeah. If you want to go a non-energized route, that can work.
Kengi explode, we back for the 16th month in a row.
Would you look at that? Absolutely correct. 16 months in a row, 28 months total. The almighty Queen River. Once again, wasting your time on this stream. Because why are you here? Why is anyone here? Come on now. I'm just some guy messing around with Atlas, but apparently you felt like spending over 2 years supporting me. Thank you for that. Ooh. Cheers. Come say, immediate thought on what I'm asking for is Melly Doughty. If an enemy takes 300% more status, does this increase the percent status of puncture? Okay, right. I see what you're asking about there. I don't want to find out. That is really, really niche. I'm going to leave that as an exercise to the viewer. Good luck with that one. Trauma notes say, how do I find other people to play with? There's no one in any maps to play with. Okay, it depends on where you're at in the star chart, to be honest, because a lot of people like myself have no reason to be replaying low-level missions down here normally. There's nothing of value to me here. So when I mouse over, if I set this to public, when I mouse over, I'm seeing just no indication of people. But if you go for something like Helene here, nope. Oh wait, did they remove the open squads thing? I seem to remember a detail about that. Yeah, so now you actually don't know. There are some missions, basic missions, which are more popular. So Hydron and Helene, I know straight away, are more popular missions. But ultimately, if you want to find people to play with, rather than just look into them, if you want to find them, the correct answer is to either head on over to recruiting chat, and find people there. Or make friends. Join a Discord, !Discord. Make some friends, chat with people, and then you can actually have people to play with. If you're just going into a random mission, expect to be alone, but also expect to have someone pop in when you least expect it. I would say basically expect to always have the worst case scenario, whatever that worst case scenario might be for your setup and approach. But yeah. Plenty of the nodes are just not worth revisiting all that much, which is why you'll find that a lot of them are empty, certainly newer game, even if you're on public. It's just not worth revisiting a lot of them. What do you do on average? Boy, howdy, how does one even begin to answer that question? Are you asking for what I do when playing Warframe in terms of like, what maps am I playing now and why? Okay. How to answer this usefully? It's like old type thing. Okay, one question at a time, Trauma. One question at a time. Slow down. I'm trying to figure out how best and usefully to answer your question, because it's very clear to me you don't have the experience in Warframe to understand half the answer I would want to give. Let alone, I don't want to give you the very obvious answer of sit back and watch the stream, you might see what I play. Because clearly that's not going to be a suitable answer for you right now. The mission I have just come out of was Kappa up on Sedna. The previous ones I've done is Selkie, Survival, Lua, Circuitous Survival. I will dabble into different missions as and when they're relevant to it. Like, it's all down to what's relevant. So, there isn't really a good answer I can give you on that. As to what to farm, everyone's individual. Don't try and copy what I farm. Definitely don't try and copy what I farm. Bloody hell. I've got thousands of platinum, hundreds of millions of credits, basically every single item farmed up. Not everything, but near enough. Even when it comes to things like Former, I'm well supplied thanks to a member of the community. So don't try and copy what I farm. You'll be in a very different position to me. Very different. I never actually checked what was in the hotfix that came around today. What was in that? PC update notes. Hotfix 2 hours ago. Sindana fixes, changes. Blah. Oh, you now get standing from Temporal Archimedia. Fair do. Transmission changes, tutorial info. Wisp's new augment scales with range. Let's see. Unimportant. 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 The railjack got cheaper to build. Unimportant. 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 Technosite stuff. General fixedy bits, but I'll be honest, it seemed like it worked fine to me. Other fixes... Nope. Looks like that's all pretty basic stuff. Oh god, there's a lot of smaller notes as well. Oh, they can hide things in here. Very quickly scanning through it. Anything notable? No, 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 no. Missing first letter on bolded terms in descriptions. Sure, however that happens. Nope, that all looks mostly just small fixes, nothing fundamental. Big Stalker spawning for clients and Technosite Coda showdowns. Stalker gonna stalk. Yep. Stalker gonna stalk. Reduction on the railjack? Yeah, it's a very small change, but the change, let me just grab the one there on the railjack, was Change resource requirements for Port Nacelle and Starboard Nacelle blueprints from 5 control modules to 500 polymer bundles in the Rising Tide quest. D added a note, we made adjustments to these costs with Tekra Encore's launch to remove resources that were not easily obtained on the main path through the star chart. This is an additional tweak with that goal in mind. I think that's the one resource I had to farm on Dan. I think that is the singular resource I had to farm on Dan when building a railjack, right? D are really going out of their way to make it where people can get to endgame as quickly as possible, right? Warframe's still a looter shooter game, but they're doing everything they can to remove the requirement to loot to do, well, to access 1999. Like, genuinely, it feels like they're removing all looting requirement to get to 99. Well, not all, but as much as can be said of trying to loot to get to 1999. So not 24-hour speedrun of Warframe, including New War. I mean, it's reaching the point where it wouldn't be that unreasonable. It is reaching that point. I think the most difficult bit would be getting to workable weapons before the Zoris. But once you hit the Zoris and you have Rhino, just blitz through. And you play some new stuff as fast as possible is probably the goal. I get it. It's just the very nature of that goal, yeah. It's a curious one that someone should be expected to be able to get to and enjoy 1999 content whilst being both brand new and not having farmed up the mods. How's Dan? I will be covering Dan in the next video. I'll say, I guess it's been like 10 years, you shouldn't have to wait 20 hours to hit the character creator. On the one hand, sure. On the other hand, can I bring up the profile of Dan from here? Dan Tayford Arwin. No online player found, so I can't just look. I can't just look at them, even if they're offline. God damn it. Because the playtime on Dan is actually surprisingly low at the moment, and Dan is probably only a few hours away from Steel Path now. Dan is probably only a few hours away from Steel Path. So when you was playing recently, it was more like 40 hours. Granted, not rushing. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like, sure, okay, it's a while away, but that's because you're going through a quest line. This is what MMOs do. You go through the quests, and if the quests suck, then address that, sure. I don't know. It feels odd to me to want to ultra super streamline to the point of going, what's that? 5 control modules? No, that's too much. Let's remove that 5 control module farm. I have 11,000. I have 11,000 control modules. Not even counting how many I've spent building things, how many I've thrown into the helmet system, or anything like that. 11,000! So to get 5, let's take a very simple estimate. Alright? Very, very simple estimate. Let's say this is the entire amount that I've gained throughout all of my playtime, ignoring all of the ones I have spent. This is all of the ones I've ever gained. Let's run with that estimate. If we go into my profile, my gameplay time is 2,500 hours. And this is about 11,500. So even at that, we'd be saying you could get those control modules in an hour to build a goddamn railjack. And I know it doesn't take that long. Now, at what point is one expected to not play the game? Do I have enough nanospores to choke a continent? Pretty much, yeah. Zulse could point out, if you told us like 5 years ago D might be over streamlining the early game, you look off your rocker. Fair point, but that's 5 years ago. A lot has changed since then. Don't forget, 5 years ago, basically no one here knew my name. 5 years ago... Hold on, let me scroll down the videos. That's 2024. I'm going to have to go down a few pages. 2023. 2022. Still 22. 2021. 2021. 2020. We need to get to April. Here we are. March 29th, 2020. A now unlisted video about the Scarlet Spear update. That's how far back 5 years is. That's a while. Yeah, things have definitely changed a lot in 5 years. A lot. But, yeah, these shortcutting at this point for the new player path, they have made it where you can completely skip Cetus on your way through to Mars. The junctions now have tiny requirements. Look at this. Requirement, complete Vor's Prize, rank up any mod once. That's the requirement to get to Venus. When you're going through here, to get through Mercury, you need to defeat Jackal at Fossa, do 6 Wave of Defense, and complete Voxelaris. So you go in through here, you complete Voxelaris, through Orvalis, there's the Jackal, and you take 1 step up to Tessera to do 2 rotation A's on that. Bam, you're at Mercury. What do you need to do at Mercury? You don't. You don't. What's it required to go to Mars? Complete the quest once awake and collect 250 Rubido. Rubido comes from here. Once awake, you pick up on accessing Mercury, but you're not really focused on Mercury. A couple missions will bounce you around there and then you just leave. You just leave. Congratulations, you're now at Mars. What does it take to get to Deimos? Nothing. Okay. Once you get to Deimos, what's it take to get to Jupiter? You do the Heart of Deimos. Excellent, you're now at Jupiter. Welcome to Jupiter. It's much bigger than Deimos. Now you want to go to Saturn? Cool. You go this mission, 2, 3, 4, defeat Alan V there, and complete the Archwing. Cool, now you're at Saturn. Like, holy shit. So, very little Mercury, skipped most of Venus, skipped half of Earth, skipped most of Mars, Phobos, Ceres, never heard of them, Void, haven't been there, Europa, thing of the past, we're now at Saturn. Since when does Deimos connect to Jupiter? Since very recently, yeah. And then you can go through here. You defeat Sargus Rook down here, so that's 1, 2, 3. Open a Miso Relic, and speak to Samaris. Bam. You're now off to Uranus. You start the whole Natar questline thing. Now, if you wanted to speedrun Warframe on a brand new account, this is how you speedrun it now. You could do all of that lot in a few hours. Genuinely. You could really speed through those. As I'll say, on one hand I agree, on the other hand, Warframe's early game is infamously rocky, so part of me wonders if that's survivorship bias. I mean, the sections up here were removed. I don't want to blame the Dan series, but the Dan series really, really did slate it. What I called this section up here, the Mars, Phobos, Ceres section, was the Doldrums. The Doldrums is a sailing thing, wind sailing, where you get to a part of the ocean, the winds just aren't happening, they just stop. And if the winds stop, your ship stops. Nothing happens, you go nowhere, it sucks. And so I called that the Doldrums. And Dee's response to that has been pretty much to go, yeah, you're right, and so they've just cut it out. You go Earth, Deimos, Jupiter, Saturn. This moon, this moon, this moon, they don't matter. Yeah. Is it just Mastery Rank that keeps the quest gate at this point? No, because you could do all quests at Mastery 0. Or at least all the main story quests. All of them are Mastery 0. Steel Path is Mastery 5 because of this one node here. This is the only node that makes Steel Path Mastery 5. That's it. The rest of it, nope, not there. And yeah, there's no timeout for failing an MR test, which actually is a good thing. That is a good thing. I'm very happy for that one. Because failing a test to be told wait 24 hours to try again, ew. I'm glad that one's gone. Vehek's the reason you have to be any MR? Yeah. If you want Steel Path, you have to kill Vehek. If you want to kill Vehek, you need to be MR5. The rest of it, pfft. Here's a Zorus, here's a Nataruk, here's a Grimoire, have at it. Hold on, Paracesis? What about the Paracesis? You don't need it. Dan didn't build it. Which kind of fits the fact that Ballas was all, oh, you need this, you need this. Ballas is a lying bastard. I'd use a stronger word, but American companies like Twitch don't like it. So, yeah, the Paracesis was a lie. You don't need it. Go figure on that one. Today's going to hit Legendary 5? Hey, nice on that. Congrats. Did I finish putting that together? Yeah, I did. Alright, I was going to test... I think I was just going to punch something up for a bit and see what happened. Could someone taxi you to the Vehek to skip even that requirement? I don't know. I genuinely don't know, sorry. Having fun with Atlas's punchy punchy? Yeah, it's pretty much come down to Atlas does indeed go punchy punchy. Also, by the way, here is melee influence. It's not a good option, it's just all the other options are worse. That's pretty much the answer. Which mission do I want to take you to? Let's take you to the Void. Void one's always a fun one. Void Survival. This one should test my tank a bit more. Yes, they did remove the Necromech requirement, although I also did it with an unmodded Necromech. The Archgun was modded, but the actual Necromech completely unmodded. So the loners can be only better than that. Alright, gotta remember, need to get the rubble. Oh shit, energy. Keep energy, please. Please, 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 please. Please. Thank you. There we go. Full level 40 enemies? Oh, shoot. My bad. My bad. Mistakes were made. There we are. Rumbled also, Orbit also works. I'm not focusing on Rumbled right now.
Enemies have grown fierce.
Do not care
with
for that
all
one.
that you have learned.
Do I know what level Moth is in terms of damage dealt? I did count it up the other day and then I forgot.
Life support has been cut off.
But I think it's like level 300.
Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support.
I think it's about 300. Well, that might be the tank. You know what? I'm not certain. I think it's 300, but it's been a while since I double checked. Alright, well, the enemy density is a lot higher, so I'm now already at full armor, so that's good. Which means 3 casts of Landslide, double the range, double the damage. It's all good. Let's go birth. It's kind of disgusting, the ease with which he just slides across entire corridors like that. Oh, hey! It's been a while since Red Veil have been pissed at me. Where are you in this morning?
On the way.
Ah, there they all are. Oh, there they all aren't. Yup. I'd say this is rather effective. Remember YouTube commented on Atlas being a fast Nidus? I see it.
I've delivered
I see
life
it.
support capsule
Yep.
to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
I'm basically just looking around and spamming 1 with my left hand, what's it? Yeah, ring finger. We got the briefest startup of the sound of the Jade Xmas. I then found the Jade Xmas. Which newly buffed Exalted Frame am I finding the strongest and most fun? Strongest is not really something I measure, I'll be honest with you. They do different things in different ways, so I don't have an answer. Most fun? Take your pick, really. Ash has certainly enabled some new tech, which is pretty nifty. But I don't use the Exalted or pseudo-Exalted frames all that much myself personally. Usually because I do just tend towards either gunplay or something more exotic. So I can't really give you the kind of answer you're looking for, sorry. There's a Jade somewhere, and I don't know where. I'm hoping they're just going to explode at some point. Also, that ability to just kind of look up and
Additional life support
go from the
has
ground floor to whichever floor they're on, that just feels real nice. That does feel nice. But yeah, it's kind of curious that the Landslide Orbit doesn't mention that you get literally double the range. Not just double the speed, but the one unmodifiable range stat in Atlas becomes modified. Actually, I love how you basically answer both questions with, I don't know, man, go figure it out. I mean, that's kind of the goddamn answer, really. Which one's strong? They're all strong. Which one's fun? Play the game. I'd like to be polite about it, but it does reach a point where it's a case of, bro, play the game. Have fun yourself. You don't need me to tell you what's fun. The game's fun. That's why we play it. Bonk. It's okay. I'm just punching corpus for millions of damage every punch for no energy cost. I'm just going at it. This has somehow become a basically near zero energy build. All I'm casting now is raw. I think pretty much Energize is there just for the start, and that doesn't sound good. But there's not really a suitable alternative. Some people find Octavia fun. Yeah. Each to their own. Different playstyles, different options. I can't tell you what's going to be fun. I can tell you what isn't going to be fun, and that's trying to use Oberon when a Necros is in the squad, but you know, that's kind of niche. Everyone can appreciate that. That is niche. I just punched that guy through the floor. Melee Reaper, just in case you take a Toxin Proc whilst punching. If it's whilst punching, the proc shouldn't apply because I'm invulnerable. I'm not noticing status effects applying to me. Oh, hey, violence. So that might apply to me. Where are you at? Yeah. Help. I'm flexing too hard. No. Yeah. Yeah. I recovered. Woo, I got a little closer than I intended. I thought silence would have run out sooner. How long is 3's cast animation, by the way? In case you do this without Path of Statues. It's not short. So... Oh, I have run out of rubble. There we go. Yeah, it's not short, so having the cast speed might be an idea if you're relying on its on, but Path of Statues has got that cheap top-up that is needed to just get that little bit of recharge. Answer to one I collect that give you trouble. Yeah, you basically do need to look for them quick enough to kill them before they cast silence. But that's it. And that is doable, I just failed to do it that one. If they cast their silence, just get some distance, wait a few seconds, and then go murder them. What's the build for Atlas right now? Electric focus using melee influence. Melee influence isn't supposed to carry the build. Instead, it's in case you find something that doesn't die in one hit, all of a sudden it becomes even stronger. If things do die in one hit, then no other bonus was necessary, they're already bloody dead. Path of Statues only worthwhile in endless missions? Correct, yes, because if you're constantly moving away from the path, then the path is never going to trigger, so it's no good to you. Path of Statues is specifically for these high enemy density, relatively static locations. Would I ever do a collab with Mr. Warframe guy? I don't really know the person. I don't watch other creators' stuff, by and large, so I have no idea about the majority of creators, what they get up to, what their kind of content is, sorry. So I can't make any kind of guarantees, one way or the other, in terms of collabs. Well, good thing I have a companion. I almost had to use a gun there. That would have been terrible. Oh, might actually have to start using guns now. They're bringing these bastards out. That's no fun. Use a gun? I know. Oi! The nullifiers are landing on me now. That's not okay. Atlas carrying a mitre in case a nullifier decides to exist. Not the worst shout because of the insta-pop. Although, don't you have to charge it? A beam weapon can also work. Or just something rapid rate of fire to just push the bubble down. Or just having a companion, a sentinel set up with a laser beam. You get close to the bubble, the sentinel will go, ooh, look, person, and shoots them. You don't have to charge the mitre for the bubble pop? Oh, nice. Don't the nullifiers begin instantly decaying rubble? Not sure. I did find enough, so we'll have to find out if I screw up. I have yet to screw up on that one, I guess. I'd say this for survival, any kind of survival, this is working. It's better on Steel Path survival because there's just more enemies. It's definitely an approach which wants lots of enemies. If you don't have lots, you might need to go more into the efficiency. Yeah, anyone who had any concern about Atlas's position post-patch, I have no concern. The man do be punching. Oh, and we got an influence proc there. You can tell by the kind of lilac-coloured numbers that pop up. You ever see those with this particular build? Any non-crit, non-shielded hits? Those are a result of influence. Like a couple of them there. Or there. I really just dove through a nullifier and got nullified mid-dash. God damn. Fair enough, Muddy. If you're not enjoying them, you're not enjoying them. There's 59 other Warframes to try out. There's Zarumi. Oh, always welcome. Always welcome on in. Hope you're having yourself a good time. Am I using Influence Electric purely because there's no better option? Pretty much yes. Pretty much. Exposure just increases the level of one-shot, but that's it. If you're already one-shotting, you don't need exposure. If you're not already one-shotting, Influence can super mega AoE nuke it, rather than just make it slightly stronger. So Influence is better. When it comes to the other options, you've got Vortex, which isn't really that great because we've already killed the AoE they're in, so it doesn't matter. You've got Fortification. Atlas has enough armor, so that's irrelevant. We're not keeping up our shields consistently enough to want to use the little bit of extra damage from that particular arcane. So yeah. Which melee am I using? This is Atlas's pseudo-exalted. Landslide. Where is this guy? He's making noise. I want to see where he is to punch him. Come on, mate. Where you at? There he is. Oh. Okay. Fair enough. I think I killed him? I can't tell where he's gone. Blast influence might be something. You don't need the blast. The electric is fine. The blast will just end up diluting you. Hi, Angst, where you at? Cool. They just fell over. Punched him in the nuts. Whether they had nuts or not, doesn't matter. They don't now. I have made absolutely certain of that. So far, none of fire is proving the mildest of problems. It is all good. Yeah, I think we've seen basically what Atlas is when using a landslide approach. There's not really much else to consider with him. Crits, damage, power. I've gone for Roar, but you could just as easily use Wrathful Advance. My only concern with Wrathful Advance is the amount of recasting in comparison to Roar. To say that it's an ability that already has a lot of crit on it. We've modded a couple 100%, so like you can go for Wrathful. To be honest, it might still be stronger than Roar, yeah, because Roar's got a base 30%, and even with the triple dip, the extra crits for the potential to just one-shot Acolytes is probably better. You can do this pre-patch, it feels worse now because no companion invis. Can you not get the companion invis? Does it count as a melee weapon attack rather than a ability attack? Because I haven't tried. I didn't feel it necessary to go invisible with Atlas.
The longer you fight, the more successful we will be.
Alright. I'm gonna pop out of this mission. I don't care about going rotation C. Pop out. Why not have both Raw and Raffle by playing Calevo? Because then it's not an Atlas guide. Might be a little bit of a problem there. Gun. Just absolutely needless. Extra little bit of gun. For the video I should use the deluxe. Should I? Should I focus on the cosmetics for any particular reason? Also, 34 Argon crystals. I don't know what I'm going to use these 17 Argon crystals for, I'll be quite honest with you. Because, like, there's no recipe that needs 8 Argon crystals. None. Like, I suppose I could save the 4 of the helmet here. But after I fed the helmet, what am I going to do with my 1 remaining Argon crystal? What's an Argon crystal? How many control modules? I got 232! And D removed the 5 from building the port and starboard nacelles of Railjack. Granted, I've got boosters. Granted, I was on Steel Path, but still. That's 2k plat. Helm's like 75? What, to build or to consume? Consume. Alright, here you are, greedy. Have something. Oh, you mostly want this, do you? Alright, Thraxplasm? No one needs that. Lure Thraxplasm? Never heard of it. Nanospores? I suppose I can spare you some of those. Let's see here. Let's go with some Null Stones. Yeah, I don't know how it's filling, but it's something. Not 99 resources. I want those. Veston Moss. Sure, why not? Never need that. You jealous of my nanospores? You perpetually out? Sorry. Zom, what? What occurs Helminth? What's his name? This is Gravemind. That is Gravemind. How are you constantly out of nanospores, Zom? How? Even if you're using restores. Let's see. So, the 100 squad energy restore large uses 30,000 nanospores. I could build this blueprint over 200 times based on the nanospores. I would run out of polymer bundles first. And that would give me, if I built it until I had no more polymer bundles left, I would have over 10,000 energy restores. What are you doing? You don't have enough for the ciphers? What are you doing? How? It's 360 spores a cipher. Zom, are you playing the game or are you just spending resources? It's just ciphers? Alright, Zom, I've got something new for you, okay? I'm gonna save your crippling lack of nanospores forever, okay? Because clearly you need this. Clearly you need this. Perspicacity. Automatically succeed at your next hack attempt. For 25 energy, you too can save 360 nanospores, because apparently it's a problem. Zom! I don't think I have ever been more concerned about you, and you've said some concerning things. How have you gone through that many fucking ciphers that you run out of nanospores? Nanospores, Zom, nanospores. I could trip over any one of these bloody drones and find more. Nanospores. You ask where to farm nanospores? They drop all over the place. It says it in the goddamn information for them if you really need to go into it. If you go into your inventory, you can probably just get the information here. Nanospores, where do they drop from? Saturn, Neptune, Eris, and Deimos. You got plenty of options. And that's just the basic planets they drop from. In fact, let's go back into this. Inventory. If I sort by owned, I do have something more than nanospores. Somehow I have more salvage. Somehow I have more salvage. That's actually impressive to me. But it's fucking nanospores, Zom. It's so easy to get. So easy. Oh, man. Ferrite's your number one? Fair enough. Yeah, that is another one right the way up there. Like, millions of each of these. This is from Earth, Lua, Phobos, Europa, Pluto, Sedna, and the Void, and it's still below those. Damn. Like, it was 360 nanospores per cipher. So with this, if I only focus on the nanospores, I could apparently build 17,912 nanospores. And if I were to use a cipher every single minute, this would take 298 hours of gameplay of spending a cipher every single minute. Every single minute for basically 300 hours of gameplay, Zom. What are you doing? Because it's clearly not playing the game. You've skipped the loot and you're skipping the hacks. Like, oh, I didn't want to be snarky today, but that one sent me. That one's absolutely broken me. I don't think I've ever had someone complain about their nanospore count before now. Ever. I'm in shock. What's a Copernic? I'm looking for a Copernic. Oh, these. Apparently they come from Lua. Yeah. I have 110,000 Lua items. I'm going to ask the wiki on this one. Hey, Warframe wiki. What the hell is a Copernic used for? Don't tell me Copernicus. Resource dropped by Xmas units on the Orica moon tile set, primarily Lua. They have also been found in Imperium missions as a possible loot drop. They are used for all kinds of railjack turrets and components. Just that. Alright. There's all railjacky thing. That's what that one is. Cheers, Valerie. Yeah, there's a few different railjack resources up here. So Carbide, Copernic, Frustrals. I think they come from the Infested Xmas. Cubic diodes, Tycor plate, titanium, Gallus rods? Yep, Gallus rods, Asterite. Not those. No, not those. There are a few different pieces. I have done a bit of railjack. Yes, Zom, please. No, Zom, no. Zom, I want to be clear about this. You're not going to go farm nanospores. Please do not admit to anyone that you are farming bloody nanospores. Please. What you are doing is you are going and playing the game without using ciphers to tie your shoelace. Oh dear. I've got a whole bunch of bits removed in update 29.10. Oh, well, fair enough then. Sure. I've just got lots and lots of dead resources. Yeah, I've got a bit of oxygen, haven't I? Just a little bit. I mean, the Kuva's doing pretty nice as well. 1.2 million Kuva. Not too shabby. The Cryotic? Oh yeah, 88k. That's got somewhere. Dan's got a surprising amount of Cryotic now. Time capsule in the inventory? Yeah, just a bit. Got a few bits and pieces just hiding throughout. 4,000 phosphorus, slowly building up again. A couple Riven slivers. Just a couple. How's Dan doing? Pretty well. Had a nice rest. Harrow chassis! Oh my. I've got 5 million credits in Harrow chassis. Gotta keep building. Gotta keep building on that. Fish meat. And fish scales, but can't sell those ones now. No name of astronomers. Hey, Eliu's got there. Eliu's got there. Yeah, I have picked up a few bits and pieces in various areas, haven't I, at this point? Oh, 374 corrupted holokeys. Miss Blackwood, Dan is the Zero to Hero Iron Man style run through that I'm doing. Series over on YouTube. Exclamation mark Dan. Oh, come on, Zom. I've bullied mods for less. You know you deserve this one. Everyone else, I try to be a little bit less harsh. I'm trying to be more than a little bit less harsh, but mods, you deserve it. If you agree to be a moderator of this channel, you know what you're signing up for. When's the next episode? It'll be the next video I put out on YouTube. That'll be the next Dan video. Because we've had 2 non-Dan videos, it's about time for Dan to come back. I've got a whole bunch of random just stuff at this point. Huh. I just had some Orphix Venom credits left over. That happens. So before we say, hi Ken, always nice to watch you. Do you have any idea if the dual toxis passive still snapshots on Mesa's regulators? I have no idea because I don't remember that particular interaction, sorry. No idea on that one. Petra a bit more purple. There you are. Calmed it down. But he says, a new goal. Try to become a mod so you can get bullied by Ken. That's, yeah. Yeah, Queen can point out some people will get bullied without needing mod status. It's very true. If you're on the level of Queen, please don't. If you're on the level of Queen, then you may also be bullied. But Queen did specifically ask to be bullied. So, yeah. When am I going to make the Coda Weapon guide, by the way? If I'm going to make a guide on Coda Weapons, they'll be individual. It wouldn't be the Coda Weapon guide. There's too many of them. It wouldn't be a suitable video to do them all in one like that. Yeah. Yes, you did, Queen. Yes, you did. We had a specific talk about this. We had a very specific talk about this because bullying by default is a bad thing, and people were bullying you. You specifically wanted it. You said as much on Discord voice chat. The note is on the profile. You specifically requested to be bullied. So, moderation stepped down. In all meaning of the word. Yeah. Griff asks Dan to extend the mission to kill the Murmur to clear the Skaldron Tech Rod. No. So, with regards to Dan, D have made change after change after change, and what they've done is they've now made it where Dan is actually only a couple hours or so away from Steel Path, because they basically removed all of the requirements of New War and above. You can access Steel Path as soon as you completed every node accessible prior to New War, which is slightly wild. As a result, my plan is now that Dan is going to return to the original set of conditions. So when I started the Dan series, 1999 did not exist. The Murmur was the furthest extent of enemies. So I'm going to have it where Dan will complete the star chart and post New War star chart missions up to and including Alberic's Labs, because that's what it was before. That was the original challenge. Then Dan will have access to arbitrations and follow on from that Steel Path, and then Dan will reach the final conclusion of defeating the Murmur on Steel Path. That's what it is. Can anyone bully Queen, or is it just a Ken privilege? I would say keep the bullying minimal if you're on the Twitch chat. If you happen to be in a voice call with Queen and Queen starts making those squeaky noises, no judgment from me. Is Dan going for 30 or 60 eyes? 30 eyes. I am not that masochistic. I am not about to subject a underfarmed account to a 60 eyes boss. That's just... I don't hate myself enough for that. I don't hate myself for that. Nope. Would be funny? I don't think it would even be funny. You'd hear me die inside, and if you're still laughing at that point, I don't want to know. Quite frankly, that's just sadistic. What's going to happen to Dan after completing the goal? Oh, Dan gets to sleep. Yeah. Dan woke up and was told to be violent, and Dan wants to sleep again, so yeah. That's the plan with Dan. Sometimes the series comes to an end. You don't need to drag it out for ever and ever. In fact, you can complete the New War at MR1. I believe it. I mean, technically at MR0, because you don't have to rank up, but yeah, I still believe it. I think I died inside when I did all the Unperformers on Urali. I didn't need to be reminded of that. You know, as soon as DE finally give in and allow Umbra Polarity to be an Omni plus Umbral Polarity, basically, a Super Omni, as soon as they do that, my Urani's going to look amazing. Until then... yeah. Until then... Still only 3 mods? I mean, if the other polarities are no longer problem polarities is the point, Death Scholar. Do you not remember what it looks like? Do I need to remind you what this 9-form Urali looks like on the inside? Because, oh boy howdy. Oh boy howdy is it pain, because that's an umbral polarity, and that's an umbral polarity, and that one is, and that one is, and this one is, and all 3 of those are. Are you ever happy? Then just remember your Ailey. In case you're wondering, no, you cannot put an Umbral Polarity here or here. It is physically impossible. This, however... oh, I need to remove things to demonstrate. Oh. This up here, however, is also Aura-formed, which is now Omni-formed. There you are. Would I recommend triple Umbral and Vault for any reason? No. Just no. Wish you could put Umbral Polarities in Aura and Exilus. I don't see any reason for that to exist. No, that sounds horrible. Let's not do that. Can't you swap an Umbral Polarity to the Exilus slot? You know, I've never tried. Oh no! No! Why would you bring this upon us? Wait, doesn't this make it better? What was the mod that I just lost? What mod just fell off there? Shit, I don't remember what mod was on there now. Now the Aura slot? Oh, there's no way that's going to work. Oh. DE, I'm sure this wasn't possible before. I'm sure this wasn't possible before. Can you even fit a build with that now? I don't think you can, no. Not a proper build. We were at the point where there was a build that just about fit. Not anymore, you can't. Actually, no. Wait, no. Because now this is blank rather than Umbral, and this is down 6, but that's down 7. That might actually net out. What was the build before? Sorry, what was it? I've completely forgotten what I had on here now. Can someone bring that back? I had Augur Reach. Okay, thank you. Yep, so that's one thing on there. Can someone go back in the VOD and have a look? I've completely forgotten. Was it streamlined for efficiency? Augment mod. Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, it would have been... yeah, it would have been that one. But I can still fit a build. For now. But as soon as those two get polarities... Oh, this is horrible. This is horrible. I hate this. How has this got worse? I could have sworn you could never do that. Fits until QTCC. Yeah, this October, the cancer comes back. Oh, God. Oh... D are gonna just take my account out back and shoot it. It's done. They're gonna ban me for this. What are you looking at? Twitch's fault. This ain't my doing. I take no ownership of this one. Zero. Can't wait for you Ready Prime to repeat this. Not happening. I don't have that many Umbral Formers. I only have 15 left. They're running out. I'm not doing that. This, I just... I think it's time we do a platinum giveaway. Exclamation mark, ticket in the chat for a chance to win it. We're doing a 75 plat giveaway to one lucky person who has unfortunately suffered through whatever hell this has become. We were having a nice, lovely Atlas stream, and now this. Oh, and I thought I had a nightmare last night. Christ. Yikes. So yeah, give you all a moment to grab the ticket if you haven't already done so. Quick reminder for those of you who are not familiar how these giveaways work, you can claim the ticket anytime during these Wednesday or Sunday streams, anytime during the stream, and if you are the winner, you'll have 24 hours to reply to a Twitch DM confirming you are the winner. As long as you reply in time, you're guaranteed to get your reward. All I need is your Warframe username, platform, and if you have cross-save turned on or not. Definitely remember to reply. But yes. Give you all just a moment on grabbing those tickets there. And whilst you're at it, if you are grabbing a ticket and you're not already following the channel, consider hitting follow. It's literally free, so hey, why not? Why not? You forgot it was Wednesday? How could you? This happens every week. How could you forget? It is one of the most regular things you could ever experience. Hey ho. Alright, I think that's enough time for people to grab tickets. If you haven't already grabbed a ticket, you clearly didn't want one, so 3, 2, 1, closed. That's all the tickets now. If you haven't grabbed it, you'll just have to try another time, won't you? Because for now, our 85 hopeful entries are in. Only one of them is going to be a winner. The winner today is indeed Hackable 666. Hackable, congratulations, you are the winner today of the Platinum giveaway. I'll be contacting you here on Twitch shortly after the end of the stream. Get hold of your Warframe username, your platform, and if you have cross-save turned on or not. Trust me, you'll know if you have it on or not. It's fine. It's not a major quiz. With those details, we'll get that sorted out. All the rest of the information will be in your Twitch DM. For everyone else, all together, thank you very, very much for joining me throughout this out the stream and then whatever this is. Yeah, this has hurt me. I just want you to understand, this has hurt me inside. Not just because it's possible, and that looks horrible already, but it means there's 2 more slots that can be Umbral formed now. I might need to reach out to DE about this one. Just so they can put me on Suicide Watch, because what is this abomination? We need to raid out of here before this gets any worse. We need to raid out of here. Where can we go? Please, some other creator, save us from this insanity. Who can we raid on into today? Just because we can does not mean we should. It's going to happen, Miss Blackwood. It is going to happen. Unless DE change the nature of the game. We're raising money for charity when it comes around, I guess. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Alright, let's see. What have we got live today? Oh god, it's showing my stream on a preview. I hate that. Don't want to look at that face. Who have we got instead? We can go Neonez, we can go Xenosphere, No Sympathy. You know what? Yeah, let's go No Sympathy today. Let's go to No Sympathy today. You can tell No Sympathy what has happened to Eurali. I'm sure they will love to know what has happened to Eurali today. You let them know what polarity I have on the Aura and Exilus slot. In fact, let's give you a copy pasta. There we go. That is your copy pasta. If you wish to join in that, let's see if we can cause some psychic damage on another stream as well. But that's all from me today. Thank you very much for joining in, and I will see you on Friday for something a little bit silly. See you then.